Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fate of Aeothar. When we last left off, the party had begun the trek to Stone Grove, in an effort to find a way to get Moss back to the Feywild. While the journey was mostly uneventful, on the final night, the party were awakened by heavily clad forces marching through their camp, seemingly coming from Stone Grove and marching to Wintervale to give aid to the war effort. But they were ambushed in the night by a warband of the Baron's men, now leaderless and scattered throughout Ethevon, who have turned into bandits and criminals. The party assists the Stone Grove soldiers and finish their night, ready to finish the journey. And that's where we're picking up. It's morning, it's still chilly. The sun has begun to warm you up. You can see an end to the cold tundras ahead of you, and as you look forward, you see what look like very large stone monoliths in the distance.
Monoliths. Can I, if I like put my fingers over my eyes and then actually zoom in because I have robot eyes, can I make out anything about these monoliths?
Roll investigation.
You got it. A monolith is a very tall pillar.
Generally of religious significance.
I'm gonna go ahead and luck that because fuck it. No, I'm gonna save luck, but I'm gonna guidance myself if that's okay.
Okay.
Thank you. That's a 9.
Yeah, the best you can make out, they seem like very large carved stone pillars, and from
Carved,
which,
so man-made.
seemingly from this distance, and there looks like there's at least 2 of them that you can see, but from the angle you're at, you know, it could be like an awkward angle, so there could be
So
more.
it's like just poking out over the horizon line type thing.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Or, yeah. So, Moss will just kind of like, obviously, always first to rise, kind of like standing up at the entrance to the cave. As everyone comes up, whoever comes up and joins them first, he just kind of elbows them and just goes, "Hey, there be monoliths."
What? Oh! So he turns around, kind of rubbing his eyes still.
I do believe that should be Stormgrove in the distance if the Duke didn't was exact about his spacing.
And also of note, the area that they're in, as I said previously, it looks like a different biome to the tundra. It's not, you know, the tall, like, you know, kind of deadish looking grass and very flat. What you see ahead is the base of a very large mountain, chain of mountains actually, the same ones that you flew over to get to the Dragon's Cave. But the area itself looks almost like rocky, stony, with like some pine trees mixed in, like some greenery, and yeah, just this very large chain of mountains ahead of you too.
So less tundra and going into more of like a, what do you call it, like a valley type air, like a situation?
Sort of, yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
Tony hasn't done a drawing in his book for a while, so he's gonna do a drawing in his book. Of this scene.
Okay.
I guess
just as everyone's getting.
And yeah, you draw what you see before you as best you can, and yeah, it looks pretty similar. It looks.
When you say it looks pretty similar, do you mean by Tony standards?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a Bob Ross painting or anything, but it's, I mean, you would know what it is flipping back through the pages.
I don't know what it is.
every painting's a Bob Ross painting if you try your best.
Sure.
Every painting's a Bob Ross building, yes,
Building,
painting when when you call yourself Bob Ross.
And don't forget,
Insane.
a lot of happy little trees just right over here.
Every tree needs a friend.
And those friends better not be damn fiends, or they'll end up having a happy little accident. So yeah, with that, I am more than ready to go.
Yep, Moss will just wait up top for everybody.
The rest of you, what are you guys doing? Are you waking up? Are you sleeping in? It was a bit of a long night last night, so...
Talia would be definitely sleeping in if no one's waking her up.
I'll probably wait for
Hydrata is going to get up and reluctantly head outside.
As Hydrata comes out to meet us, I'm about to introduce Talia to my frying pan.
In a good
So-
way or in a bad way?
Yes.
In a noisy way. And so, like, Sadrada comes out and like, oh, you just managed to escape the wrath of Pan.
Good morning, sunshine. Moss says to Hadrada as he like puts the hands on the side of his head where there are no holes or ears.
Apparently, it sounded like Tony was about to beat Talia up with a frying pan.
Yeah, I was
Did.
Mentally.
Roll initiative, bitch.
I'm about to deal Talia some thunder damage. I'm gonna walk back in. Gauntlet on Pan. Clang, clang, clang. Get up!
Okay,
We're
tell me,
leaving.
good luck.
And yes, there too, right?
Reluctantly heads up.
Yeah, Ezia like immediately like lurches out of bed, ready to go, looking very surprised and kind of like she's about to maybe stab Tony. But seeing that it's like him and not, an attacker,
I give her-
she calms down.
I give her a look like I invite you to try.
And roll initiative.
Really?
Ooh.
Please don't. Natalia gets
Roll,
up very
roll.
reluctantly.
Yeah.
She really doesn't want to, but
Are we setting off early?
Breakfast.
We want breakfast.
Breakfast! If you
Breakfast.
already had to bring out the pan, then you have to cook in it too.
Well, in that case. Hadrada!
Is Tony just speaking that X without the head?
So he then puts on the hat, and you can hear him get a little bit more what you know as a person is French.
It's called High Elven.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
Prepare
fire.
this stove.
And Hardrada will use Burning Hand with sculpt spells to, not hit. See?
I put my pan down on my trusty kitchen sidekick. And I
Use
will
sculpt spells if you want to know what it actually does.
Perfect.
I will begin cooking.
So yeah, you don't
Oh,
incinerate the rest of the party.
We have coconut still.
Tony, you do realize that, we can just make a campfire?
Yeah, but Hadrada knows how to cook the food like I like the food.
Aren't you the one doing the I don't know magic, I'm just...
He
Okay.
controls the heat, and I work the pan. It is a perfect relationship of hands and fire and food. It is delicious. Nothing beats the burning hand stove.
Okay.
Moss, through all of this, stays up top.
I will put on a bit of fried fruit, maybe.
Okay.
It's like we have meat every day, and I don't want to run out of meat, so like
I mean, meat's
Could-
relatively easy to come by, but okay,
yeah,
I
but,
gotcha.
just in case we need some emergency meat. We only have one meat left. We have one salted displacer left, but I think that's probably rancid by now.
Yeah, it's been a while, so it's probably not
I'll
too good.
leave that.
Here-
Yikes.
Here's a question just mechanically. I'm not there, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But if I were to hit poison food with this, does that technically make food edible again?
Purified and rendered free of poison and disease. Yes, it would.
Oh, yeah? All right, well, I'm not there, so you don't know.
Fine.
Just
Then I
wondering how that
throw it
worked
away.
mechanically.
I would say, like, on that, it'd be less poison and probably more disease.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
We've got some
We like
rice.
both,
Let's do
so
some
we're
rice as well.
I thought you said rocks, and I was very confused.
We're not dwarves.
Anyway,
Stone soup.
you've got like a paella.
I'm a
looking
dwarf.
thing, I guess.
I'll eat rocks.
You were a dwarf. We don't know what you are now.
Stones are the potatoes of dwarves.
Stones of dwarf roll.
Potatoes.
I love mash and stick them in a stew.
It's just
But
gravel.
yeah,
You're just making gravel corn.
I stir up a 4's worth of food for you all.
Okay. And that's in the magic pan of good cooking.
Yes, the magic pan of good cooking.
Okay, cool.
Do
Kind
you
of good for-
use the magicless crack?
The
The crackless crack?
don't know if crack could the crackless crack.
And one
Diet
day,
crack. I don't think diet crack would
Diet crack.
and
I
one
don't think
day,
diet crack would go well with
and one day, the
breakfast.
crack lost its magic.
I don't know if diet crack is a very breakfasty spice.
There.
We have some lighter spice that
I
we
don't know
picked
about you.
up.
I like crack all times of the day.
This is diet crack. I've got some cinnamon. We'll try that. We'll try cinnamon. Just so I can note
So,
down what it'll be.
Cinnamon on the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cinnamon does go with fruit very, very well. It doesn't specify what kind of fruit it is, does it?
It's fruit box.
Okay. So yeah, we'll say inside of that box there's some apples, some pears, some mango. Yeah, some mango.
of what? Sorry, Peter Park.
And some banana.
Fantastic. I cook you all up a plate of assorted fruit.
Assaulted fruit.
Assorted fruit.
Salted fruit.
Ugh.
And I
Sir.
hand you all around a bowl. I say a bowl. We don't have any bowls, so I guess we're eating out of the pan.
Use your knives to, like, grab a piece out of the pan.
We do have several chests, though, that Tony carries around with him.
Yeah, but they're all big. Big chests.
I know, but you can still eat out of them.
Or you could scrap them and make some, mediocre plates.
I'm gonna buy some cutlery when we're next in town. Anyway,
Probably good
I invite everyone to gather around to Drada. Say, please help yourself.
Nom.
As I eat, I twirl my mustache that I don't have.
Is it you like have the helmet on and slick?
Yeah, on the outside of the helmet.
And yeah, it tastes really good. And it kind of gives you the burst of energy you need to go about your day and get ready.
Fantastic. Also gives us all 4 temporary hit points.
Hey.
All but Moss, who, during all this, is up top and just kind of taking a moment, looking around. And I'm assuming it takes some time to cook. Hopefully long enough, longer than 11 minutes.
Professionalism requires time.
Long enough for Moss to cast a commune with nature ritualistically. So it's no spell slot, but it takes 11 minutes.
I would say, like, for the cooking aspect, it probably takes Tony about 25 minutes to get everything cooked up and served. And yeah, so you got time.
If that is the case, then he does cast it multiple times. But he's just kind of like, now that he's more aware and more like knowing of everything that's going on, and he's kind of had some time now, especially with the past few days of travel, to kind of organize his thoughts. He's kind of realizing that since he's been here, he's gained so much from this plane, yet he knows so little about it. So he just wants to take some time to, I guess, yeah, if it's 22 minutes, then he gets it off at least twice, then maybe a third if they take a while to eat, who knows. But just like, if there are any major, like if there's a giant lake or a big old cave within 3 miles, that's cool. But I'm not worried about like specifics about terrain, or if there's any powerful beings, that might be neat to ping. But he's not really looking for that. He's just kind of looking for the general connection to the nature around him.
Okay.
If there's anything outstanding, yeah, but minor shit, I'm not worried about.
So I will say, because I don't know if it would be within the 3-mile radius, but I'll give it to you as a freebie anyway. There is a very large lake on the other side of Stone Grove. It's on the other side of the mountains and kind of a little bit into the eastern expanse.
So this is on the opposite side of where we are currently.
Yes.
So that we're to like the northwest, if I remember right, of Stone Grove.
Yeah, the northwest.
So that'd be on the far eastern side then.
Mm-hmm.
On the far eastern.
It would be
Sorry,
to the south of Spirate and to the east of Stone Grove, like directly east of it.
Does do I pull anything specific about it, or just that it does exist?
Just that it does exist.
All right, no, that's fair.
It's a relatively large body of water, so.
Any powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead? Or any man-made buildings, or just like in the woods or in the mountains? Within 3 miles.
Yeah, you would pick that up for Stone Grove because it's built into the mountain.
Or within 3 miles, though? Or that's the extended range that you're talking about?
That's the extended range, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And
Basically, like, where you're at right now is somewhat barren and empty. So within, like, that 3 mile radius, you really wouldn't get anything out of it.
Fair.
So, just as,
fair.
kind of a bit of an extended radius, you would pick up, like,
I
Stone
appreciate
Grove
that.
a bit. Cause...
Okay, yeah, so it's like the edges of Stone Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Through detect magic. Or commune with nature.
Yeah. So you guys
So, yeah,
here.
In what I kind of imagine for this, he sits down and then, like, druid crafts a bunch of, like, moss and plants over his lap, and then just takes a moment to sit cross-legged and hands in his lap on the moss, and just kind of, like, moving himself in and communing with the nature around him, just kind of getting more in tune with this plane as he begins his journey back home.
Okay.
And then whenever, like, he stays that way until someone comes up and grabs him.
Since I did give you the Stone Grove thing, you would actually pick up a celestial, fae, fiend, or elemental power signature from Stone Grove.
I believe I know which one, but I guess you can make that call. Do I know what it is? What type it is?
Fiend.
Oh! Okay. So Edges of Stone Grove, and then detects powerful quote. I'll put that in powerful. Sorry. At that, so as Moss like goes and then like through whatever this deeper connection, being able to extend all the way to the edges of Stone Grove, kind of in that moment, like eyes shoot awake, stands straight up in ruins, like the nice garden he just made all around himself. And just like, douche. Tony!
What?
There be
Would you like a...
fiends.
Oh,
Fiends. Lose the hat.
oh dear. Takes the hat off.
I believe if you have all finished dining, it is time for us to go. Seems
sorry,
we may have more business in Stone Grove than I initially anticipated.
Tony stands up very immediately. And if anyone hasn't finished their food, too bad. I'm picking up the pen. We have business to attend to.
All right, tally ho. And he starts walking upstairs.
Okay.
Or outside.
Clank after him, very seriously.
Okay, cool.
Moss is waiting for everyone up top, already in bird form, assuming Tony moving quickly.
Yeah, I'm saddling.
If you're saddling, he just kind of turns back, knocks on his head real quick.
Hello. What can you tell me?
I'm not sure on specifics. I'm not even sure if it's in Stone Grove, honest, but anything like that, I'm not very comfortable around.
You and me both.
If you have anything that you can sense while we're flying, I don't.
I mean, I could while we're flying. I don't know how this would work while moving. So,
Well, it depends. What is it?
just
I'm very
divine
knowledgeable.
sense.
Well, I mean, it moves with you, but I'm not really going to be flying 60 feet above the ground.
No, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not really like.
Yeah, nah. All right, well, so let's hope then, when we get to Stone Grove, there's nothing there. Yeah?
Fingers crossed. And
Fingers
if there is
crossed.
something there.
Well, hold on. And then Moss, like, raises his metal hand, and he's just, like, trying to cross his giant fucking robo-dinosaur fingers, but he can't. Like, I can't cross my fingers.
I get the impression.
Fair enough.
So,
And then yells down to the party, down the cave, telling them to hurry the fuck up.
so yeah, you guys are there. That's where the cave is. Hopefully that's showing up.
And then, like, the feeling is just, like, in this general vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Tony is going to be keeping a watchful eye.
Okay.
Does everyone board Moss?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Stick its
Yeah.
foot.
okay.
I take off to Stone Grove, towards the monoliths, I assume.
Okay. So you leave your temporary shelter for the night and come out, and Moss begins to take flight. And as you do, you see a visible difference from like kind of the snowy, grassy tundra area, and you see like a visible like barrier of green that it touches ahead of you. And it's safe for you to assume that you're heading into a more gentle climate, more warmer, not as windy from the coast, not as snowy from it being so far north. And as you make your way over to Stone Grove, you cross that threshold and you leave the tundra behind. And the area you see ahead of you now is almost grassland mixed with very large stone outcroppings. And from where those stone outcroppings have been eroded by the rain and the weather, it's created almost like a gravel trap. And you see, green grass kind of growing up between this gravel ground below you and large stones. And as you get closer to Stone Grove, you see the monoliths getting closer, and they seemed very big from where you were. And as you get closer, they just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. Yeah. And they're probably about 400 feet high.
Are they inside of Stone Grove, or are they like around it?
They are outside of it. Roll a perception check for me.
Absolutely.
All of us, or just...
All of you guys can roll if you want, yeah.
Checking if Quetzalcoatl gets advantage. I don't think...
Tony's rolling perception exclusively to stare at fiends.
2019.
Oh!
Ooh, nice.
If there's a single fiend on this surface. I doubt it, but...
13.
Forgetting how to spell Quetzal,
So-
sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Oh,
And,
yeah. Okay. We'll wait for you.
There's another 13.
I'll be able to confirm the lack of fiend.
So, yeah, I would say between all of you, it would be a group pass. As you look around, you see a very large carved stone city built into this mountain in front of you. And the way that it's set up is the mountain itself is almost shaped like a very large horseshoe. It's kind of like that half-open circle kind of shape. With the buildings and the large stone castle reaching up past where the peaks are. The castle in the city is very, very large. All the buildings are carved stone, varying in color from gray to almost like a dark blue sort of rock color. And you see at the base of Stone Grove, there's a large, almost like dirt ramp that goes from the ground up into the mountain where the city is. And at the foot of the mountain, that's where the large monoliths are coming out of the ground at. And you see that they're very... they're pillar-shaped, but they're very uneven. They look very natural, yet somehow still very smooth and almost like they've been carved. The very tips of them are jagged, and the way they come up, there's one coming straight out of the middle. There's two that are almost leaning on top of each other, making an X. And there's another one that kind of shoots out diagonally from the ground behind them.
Is there any pattern to how they're like pushing out that I can recognize?
Roll a perception.
It says 16. I'm gonna guidance myself if that's okay.
Okay.
Just give it my all. That says 19.
19? Okay. As far as like any sort of recurring pattern, there isn't really one.
Is there like a... Oh, sorry, go.
From what some of them look like, the way they're coming out of the ground though, it could be equated to if somebody threw like a spear or a javelin and it landed in the ground and it kind of, stuck into the ground, sort of that angle. Some of them resemble something like that, But besides that, there isn't really like a recurring pattern or anything like that.
The ones that did land like that, if I were to take it and kind of like with my eye trace it back, where would these have been quote unquote thrown from if they were thrown? Those ones that are like that, would I be able to figure that out?
Yes. Let me see. Yeah, we'll say off of that 19 perception, it seems like if they had come from somewhere in that manner, it would have been far to the north and to the east a bit.
Northeast. Alright. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I'm writing that down. From east of mountain. Alright, yeah. No, so Moss will like in that moment of like trying to figure all that out, I assume he kind of like circles a little bit and is like getting a closer look at the tips, at the tops of them. You said they were very jagged. Did it look like they were broken off, maybe?
They would appear to be that way, yeah.
So they were landed and then snapped.
And also think of it kind of like a hinge, like Stonehenge or something like that. Just kind of the way that they're set up.
Very Stonehenge. That's a new word I'm making up.
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. Stonehenge sounds like a dude. Stonehenge, what's up, man?
Hey, Henji.
Yeah, so doing probably like a lap or two. Moss probably gets kind of lost in thought, especially after taking that moment of earlier and now seeing this very alien thing to him in this world. Probably just kind of like flying for a bit, kind of in amazement at these pillars jutting out.
Yeah, and that is one thing that you guys would probably consider or feel about seeing these monoliths is, wow, these look really out of place here. Not so much because, I mean, the surrounding area is rocky and stony and has a lot of mountains, so they don't really look out of place in that manner. But looking around, there's nothing else this big besides the mountains.
Or this, like, intricate.
Mm-hmm.
What can I tell? What kind of material? Is it just stone? Sorry, Skull. I just want to get this last question in.
Roll investigation.
Sure.
Can I actually
I'm
make
looking
that
at-
investigation check because I have advantage on?
Sure.
He's rolling. I'm not looking at. If he fucks it up, I'm looking at. I'm looking at.
Okay.
Does that mean I
just
get
a flat
advantage
D20.
again, or does that mean I just have
No,
to do
no,
it?
that
normally?
means,
he's looking
that
his
means
own
I
roll.
get to roll.
Oh, okay.
You can't look your
14.
roll, oh my god.
Plus a D4, if that's okay. 15.
15? Okay. So the main composition of these look like granite, but as you get closer, you see that on the insides of them, they're cracked open on one side of them, and they're very large geode formations.
Geode, what color is it?
They are a purple with tinges of blue.
Oh. Purple.
From a distance, these reminded me of another very tall building we've seen, but now it's all weird.
Yeah, so Moss definitely, like, he's lost in this. He forgets about Stone Grove and is just doing laps looking at these fucking pillars.
Okay. Yeah, and
Do I know any folklore about these pillars?
roll a history.
Where's history? I'm blind, sorry.
I
There.
did. Also, Mike,
Wow,
I did just realize
7!
guidance is technically a spell, so I cannot do that while be shaped. I apologize. Just thought about that.
Oh, okay, got it.
So I do not get those D4s while I'm wild shaped. My apologies.
Okay.
You don't get that +1.
Yeah.
Delete all that from memory then. Time to clear the old browser. Yeah, I would say Skull, you or Durgate, you probably don't recall any sort of folklore about this area. It's semi close to Wintervale, but it's still pretty far. It's pretty far off still.
Okay.
Tony probably would have noticed you going the wrong way, but he's too busy looking for fiends, so someone else is going to have to remind him.
Moss is literally just doing laps staring at these rocks. He has been for probably the past 15 to 20 minutes.
Talia's just kind of does like knocks on Tony's armor and is like, hey, could you tell Moss that he's kind of going in circles?
Yeah.
But Tony, you also don't see any fiends either. Yeah.
Tony feels proud of himself.
And like where these monoliths are, they're probably like a quarter of a mile from the mountains where the city is built into.
Ooh, that is eerily close.
Mm-hmm. That's where the city gets its name from. Stone Grove, as these monoliths are called.
In that case, I'll message Moss. We got places to be. I know these are very beautiful, but...
Yes, I heard her. You're on my back.
Yes, and we're moving it. Marque, whatever.
As well, I've slowed down so I could see, obviously.
Listen, I'm not very good at all this technical mumbo-jumbo.
It's Mark 2, and I'll take us back. Tell everyone to hold on again.
Okay. Everybody, hands up.
And then break the sound barrier to go to Stone Grove.
Okay. Coming into Stone Grove, where...
I will land outside. I
Okay.
will land outside. I assumed that was going to be your next question. I just thought about that. Yes, I will land probably a good at least 120 feet out. No, further than that, because I'm pretty sure artillery could probably fire. I'd say 200 feet out, just to be safe. They see us coming in. We're coming in right front and center, so they see us. We're not being sneaky. I'm not trying to raid your city. I'm just a giant metal bird. You know, the usual.
Nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear except
Yeah, and it's pretty quiet on the city front. You don't hear like alarm bells or people shouting or in fear or anything like that. It seems
Wonderful.
Relatively quiet, relatively normal. So you land onto the ground, and as I said before, it's a very like gravelly, grassy kind of mixture on the ground.
Moss, the second he like lands, doesn't even really like let everyone off. He kind of lands, positions his back, and then morphs out. Finally.
Tony falls the length of a Quetzalcoatl to the floor.
Well, he
With a
need like
club?
half a Quetzalcoatl because he like positions
Oh,
himself.
yeah.
He's also on all fours, so he's not at full height.
Clank.
Within the 10 feet, I assume.
Is that
Alright.
still 1d6 of fall damage?
No, that is the exact distance you need to not take fall damage.
Okay.
So, shall we set off then?
Oh, standing up. Could have let us off a little wider.
I needed to get out of that. I apologize. It will
Hello?
happen again.
Let's head on in then.
And remember, guys, my name is Hildegard. I'm bad at common.
Hildegard.
For last time.
Hildegard. Hildegard, yes. Hildegard. I will fuck that up. And he turns and starts walking towards Stone Grove.
Facepalm.
Okay. So yeah, you begin walking across the ground and make your way towards the beginning of the ramp leading up the mountains into Stone Grove. And it's a very steep ramp. Think of almost like Helm's Deep, you know, like the ramp to like get up into that place from Lord of the Rings. Sort of like that, except it's kind of twisty and windy going up, you know, through the different peaks and passes of the mountains. And you make your way and you come to a large stone gate. The frame is made of stone. The doors are made of, it almost seems like iron or steel, but more of like a cobalted blue color.
Almost a similar blue to the geodes we saw earlier? Maybe?
Similar, yeah, similar.
Okay.
And you make your way towards the front gates, and you see there are soldiers out front guarding them. And you walk up, and they see you approach and say, "Halt there! Are you refugees from Wintervale?"
Moss shakes his head.
Hardrada, before Moss can say anything, says, "In a way."
and he says, "I'm very sorry, but the city is at full capacity. We have no room to put you.
Well, that's okay. We're here to send them home.
You can
As
go
he turns to Hydrata.
Okay.
Just a kind of angry glare as he says that to the guards.
Roll...
How can I tell it's angry? You don't have eyebrows.
And he says, "Send them home. We haven't heard from Duke Silentfury
And Moss pulls out the letter.
You're about to?
Indeed, my friends. And he, I believe, and holds up the mark. I believe this is in need of reaching the hands of one High King Darren Dawnstead.
And
Sent directly from Duke Silentfury himself.
And they look at the letter and see the royal seal and say, "Ah, his seal. Come with us. We'll take you straight to the king."
Yes, that's more like it. Takes the letter and tucks it back into his into the space between his metal plate and his chest.
And you see the one that you've been talking to kind of look up at some other guards on the gate and say, "Open up." And the large gates begin to swing open and sound very, very heavy and labored on their hinges.
Sounds like Moss when he rolls out of bed.
Remembering the last large,
He
heavy
doesn't
gates we
sleep,
walked
whatever.
into, this is a much grander entrance than the first ones we walked in with the hanging bodies.
Oh,
Back in
yeah.
Blackfield.
Yeah.
Moss wasn't there for that one.
Mm.
But on the walk in, Moss kind of like kicks Hydrata in the back of the leg a little bit.
Okay.
Hydrata falls over.
Moss keeps walking.
It says, "Assault! Assault! Guards, get him!"
It's not assault if they deserve it, is it?
It's Dylan!
But yeah, so...
Legally, yes, but it shouldn't be.
But yeah, so as you walk through the gates, looking around, you see that the city is in a stepped formation. There's buildings like at ground level, and there's a short flight of stairs that kind of goes up to another level, and there's buildings like built onto that, and then other stairs from there, like, you know, turn like into each other and then like go up a little bit higher, and there's more buildings like carved into the mountain up that way too. And it's like this pretty much all the way up to the castle. And you notice that in the open area in between where all these stairs are in the buildings, there is a natural river that runs down through the center of the city. Seemingly a spring coming from one of the higher mountains.
How high up is the castle on this mountain?
From ground level?
Yeah, from where we are, I guess.
Okay, so from ground level, the castle would be about 250 feet up.
Fucking Christ.
Mm.
Ow. Impressive. Speaking of
Moss.
which, is Moss wearing shoes?
No, his feet are shoes.
Can I flat tire Moss then?
You what?
Can I flat tire Moss? Can I
No,
give him
you'd
a
just
flat
be
tire?
sliding against metal.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Are doing each other now?
Am I gonna have to
rub
like
my
hold you at
ankles.
either side of my arms? Like, stop it, children.
I would love to see you try.
Try flat tiring you?
But yeah, so looking around on the ground level, roll perception.
Yes, sir.
Somebody or everybody, and we can do it as a group.
Give me advantage, please. Someone give me advantage. Christ, please.
How?
Someone else is gonna have to because Tony doesn't know how to look at things.
By helping, just say you help me. That's
I
Oh, yeah,
help.
but Tony
I
can't help you.
Yeah, but-
somehow.
Yeah, but how?
How do you help?
Tony, in law, is
Um,
bad at looking at things.
Talia points out things to Maz that he might be missing.
Things that are lower
help
since
us.
he's so tall.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
See, if
Does
I
that
did that,
count?
I'd give you disadvantage.
And you know what? Just for fun, I am still going to guidance myself on a nat 20. Just for the 32.
Wow.
I got a plus 30. Don't need a rogue for that.
But so yeah, I would say Moss probably gets high enough to, or rolls high enough to notice. But it seems like this ground level is mostly like businesses and shops. There's a very large city square, and there's vendors and shops and people kind of running around about their day and buying
like a-
things
Like a commercial district type shit.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
As we walk, Talia Just gonna ask Azia's like, so what are you gonna do now?
And she
You gonna come
says,
with us? You know?
well, I've actually picked up another contract for somewhere not too far from here. I could go and handle my business and then possibly come back and meet you here within a few days, probably. I don't know how long you plan on staying here.
Oh. Neither do I. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I still have the necklace, and she like points like at the necklace. I'll send you. I can send you a message whenever we're back here.
And she says, yes, that sounds perfect.
Okay. Good. Then
And she says, but I will catch up with all of you later, and good luck on your business here. Stay.
Before you go, Azia, Moss kind of like steps in and puts a finger up.
Yes.
Now I know you took that contract and you ripped it up. It was very showy. I appreciate that. Thank you for not murdering us. I do appreciate that. Is someone else gonna pick that up, or is that gone?
And she says, well, with the death of the Baron, there's nobody to pay the rewards, so more than likely it'll probably just be lost to the wind.
Oh, and also, just, shot in the dark. You know anything about this Council of 13? I know it was
Circle?
like, sent by the... Well, yeah, Circle, sorry, thank you.
And,
My operator has his notes fucked up still, sorry.
and she says, no, I'm afraid it doesn't ring a bell for me.
Ah, fair. Do I believe her?
Roll
I
insight.
still do not trust her.
how dare you?
26.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you probably trust her.
All right, yeah, no, she's not lying. So Moss nods. It's like, all right. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you again for not murdering us. If you do wish to hop on board, you're welcome anytime. We do need someone to dog sit Spaz. He's not allowed out anymore.
And she
We all
says,
just give him a glare.
and she says, I'll keep that in mind. And
Moss nods.
begins walking down the ramp again out of the city.
Moss turns and sees everyone glaring at him. What?
I'm
We're in a
married.
new city.
You are in a new city.
We are indeed.
I'd like to ask, can I find any magic shops in this city?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I would
Roll-
also like to find magic shop.
I thought someone is taking us directly to the king. Do we have like time for that? While we're being
I'm
taken
doing this-
directly to the king?
I'm doing like a pre-check on the way, so that when we come back, I can go straight there.
Okay, that's fair enough. I didn't say anything. You look for your magic shops.
but yeah, roll investigation.
Moss will kick Hadrada and go, Oi, Hadrada,
And Hardrada will just look up at him and say yes.
find this magic shop. Look at him. It's like a lost puppy. We'll look over at Tony, who's just kind of like
I am
staring at a
hunting.
wall.
And Hardrada says,
Yeah, Tony, I would say you don't see any specific magic shops like on your way through.
I think between the two of us, and Moss will pick up Hadrada and then put him on his shoulders, we might be able to find something.
how high is your perception?
Very.
I say you do the perception and then I'll aid you by like pointing out like, hey, there's a sign over there.
The plan is I'm perception, you're investigation. Together we're unbeatable.
True, yes.
So with Hadrada on my shoulders and seeing Tony be a lost puppy, Moss will, for the first time, try to work with Hadrada on something.
Hell's
Look at
frozen
him
over.
go.
Indeed. So Moss will begin scanning and Hadrada will begin scanning the other way, and we will work together to try to find a shop. What should we do, sir?
Roll investigation. If you're
That's
working
all you?
together, if Hadrada's going to be the one looking, he can do it at advantage.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. I will also give you guidance since you were on my shoulders.
Okay.
+1.
Ooh.
Advantage.
You have advantage.
Advantage.
Yep.
We can't roll 2 crit fails.
Don't even
Right.
say that.
I mean,
That was perception.
Been there, done that.
Roll the right one.
Come on.
20.
Hey!
There we go.
21.
Okay. Looking around.
21.
Looking around, you do see one shop that seems to have a sign out front of it. It says Arcane Secrets.
That sounds like a. That sounds like a shop.
Arcane Secrets.
And you see another shop that has kind of like the Greek Caduceus staff on the front of it, and it says the Ice Lotus.
That one sounds interesting.
It
I
sounds
mean,
like
Arcane
cool.
Secrets also sounds interesting, but
Both of these.
that
sound
one also
very-
sounds interesting.
So Moss will like kind of like tap Hadrada's leg and like look up at him and do like the motion, but there's no mouth, so he's just putting a finger on a faceplate.
And
yourself
her
tap.
will like stay silent, I guess.
Yeah, he nods and then continues up as a note for later, and like walk up to Tony. He's like, "Oh, sorry, lad," and like pat him on the back.
Tony looks like a sad puppy. You can't see that because his helmet's on, but his shoulders are very slumped and his head is down. Oh, it's fine.
We'll talk to the king and then we'll ask him if he has any cool magic items. Okay?
Ooh, that's a good
So it's like maybe we'll find one later on the way.
So,
we are.
and,
hey, in case you forgot, we are going to talk to a high mage of the king.
ooh, Tony perks up.
Yeah, there he is.
And
He's a
you
boy.
continue to follow the guard, and you leave the ground level of Stone Grove and begin making your way up the first set of stairs. And looking around, the buildings here seem to be more. It seems like taverns and inns and like places to stay at. And you cruise past that and go up the next flight of stairs, and this seems to be the beginning of the residential areas. Albeit this area is kind of more, I guess, lower class comparatively to some of the people you saw in the shop. This area kind of looks a little bit more for like the downtrodden, maybe some of the displaced people from Wintervale. And
Lots of refugees. Is there anyone we recognize immediately? Or is it just like lots of faces?
Is there any particular handsome face?
There's lots of faces here. I would say roll perception.
That I can do.
Can I also roll perception just to
Roll
see
a
if I
D.
recognize someone that Moss maybe wouldn't recognize?
Nice. 12.
Sure. Moss, all you see are just lots and lots of faces.
Damn.
There you go. Yeah, no one's here.
Okay. 27.
Would I see someone?
So let's see. Trying to think of someone here. I would say
mean-
probably with that, you probably don't see anyone that you'd really recognize. You would know these people are from Wintervale, but as far as like seeing people you recognize, no.
Okay.
But
No one's here.
there are a lot of these refugees, though. They're basically taking up this entire sort of bottom portion of Stone Grove.
It's like, see, told you, no one's here. Why didn't you trust me? What's the problem?
Because I don't know, you don't know people like I don't know Durgan's mom.
Yeah, this is what I thought. And he like walks off all sassy.
Tony
My
has a
mom
concerned.
wouldn't be here in this part of town.
Fair enough.
Tony has a concerned air about him.
Tony, it's a city of people. He's all right. Rubs his shoulder, like hand on shoulder. Hadrada's still on
Tony
my shoulder.
completely blows it off. Who's all right? What
Yeah,
are
no
you
one,
talking
of
about?
course. Exactly. That's the spirit. Hey, high mage, right? Hey, high mage.
Yes.
It's like
Completely
a dog.
blazing it, mage.
And I will usher us after the guards. Just kind of like, all right, stop looking at people. I started this. Let's get it moving.
Okay. Yeah, and you continue up all these stairs, and it seems like the next flight is more residentials, and then going up, yet more residentials, and you finally start getting close to where the castle is. Coming up on the next flight, you see that it is a very large green courtyard area, almost like a garden. There's hedges that are cut into shapes of animals. There's rose bushes. There's small trees growing. Benches. There's torches around for when it's nighttime and people still want to, kind of come out and enjoy the greenery. And looking around, you see there's people from all classes, all walks of life here. There's people who are obviously nobles given by their dress, and others who are part of the common class, and they seem to be getting together just fine, living in harmony with each other, no issue. And you can see that the next step above that is where the castle is, and the guard begins taking you up that final kind of staircase, and you get to another very large stone gate, and you see the guard look up and say, "Open up, we have visitors." And the gate slowly begins to creak open, and you begin walking through and up the stairs leading up to Stone Grove Castle.
Small question. How thin is the air up there?
Relatively thin, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty high elevation where you're at.
I just walk up most of a mountain.
It's like Peru, it's like Machu Picchu. It's very thin air, and it seems like the people who live here have adapted to this.
I hate to break to you, I've never been to Peru.
Well, neither have I, but I know what Machu Picchu is.
No, I was that bad at geography.
I want wild guinea pigs, damn it.
And the castle itself is made of a similar stone to the gates. It's the kind of bluish purple tinged stone, and there's multiple towers and multiple spires that come up off of it, and a large main central area that they're all connected to, and lots of windows. This castle has many windows dotted throughout it.
Stained glass or just normal glass?
Just normal glass. Yeah. Right. Under each window there, you can see what looks like there's a standing balcony.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Very nice.
Intriguedly.
And
Moss walks in like he owns the place, like he does every place.
And you continue following the guard, and he goes in through the main door, opens it up, and you walk in, and it's a very nice throne room that you enter. Still carved from stone, but all of the walls have carved frescoes of battles past, of different kings and rulers, and even invaders who have come through. And it seems almost like a detailed story of Stone Grove's entire history just carved onto the walls.
Well, what is Stone Grove's entire history?
Looks like a bunch of people tried to invade it and they protected it a lot.
I mean, you can always roll history or investigation to start going through the frescoes if you want. But there's
I will do that.
There's a lot of them.
Okay,
So.
you keep saying that word. What is a fresco? I get the kind of context clue of it, but can you define that for me?
Yeah, essentially it's like a carved picture onto this wall. Yeah, it's not painted, it's not drawn, it's actually carved into the rock. And it's not just like a singular, picture of like a king, almost like a portrait. It's a detailed story, like each section of wall.
So
How much
it's like
of the story do I
like
get
a
out of
section.
it 13?
It's
Sorry.
tapestry-esque.
Got it. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Well,
Like sections, or is it one? Well, so here's a question: is it sectioned, or is it like one long scrawling picture that is all carved together?
no, they're different sections.
Okay, there we go. That's what I needed. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the picture in my head.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hold on real quick. Durgat just rolled something.
Alright.
Alright, so where are you starting, Durgat?
From the beginning? I don't know.
Okay. So starting from where you are in the room, this seems like kind of the later history. The picture that you're currently looking at, it is of a heavily clad king in armor with a golden crown on his head, and it seems like he's leading a group of men against what look like giants. Coming from the giants, it looks like carved lightning bolts coming off of their heads and like off of their hands. It's very dramatic. The horses are reared up. The king is like, mid hit with his sword, and the giants are cowering back with like lightning coming off of them.
Damn.
Moving on, you see what looks like a ship sailing over the ocean with 5 massive tentacles coming out of the water and surrounding it, and what seems to be one lone soldier in the crow's nest with a very large spear that has some kind of energy coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to keep going, roll investigation again.
Can I also roll a history check to see if I know what the fuck that spear is?
I would say a disadvantage because these are very, very old pictures.
Rolling doesn't hurt. 5.
5, okay.
Okay, not investigation because I want to keep going.
As you're doing these
History.
investigations, I'm gonna hit you with guidance.
That's a 4.
That's a 7.
Yay!
Okay.
Also, just kind of like seeing Durgit look at the wall, kind of like walk up and just kind of like ding, tap him on the shoulder.
So yeah, as Durgit is inspecting all of these different pictures and different carved stories, you hear a voice from further in the throne room say, "My lord, we have visitors from Wintervale." And you hear another voice say, "Well, where are they? I don't see anyone."
Boss very hurriedly takes Hadrada off of his shoulders.
Can I actually make a investigation check on the wall to see what kind of stone it's made out of, or like where the origin of the stonework, like how it was crafted? You know.
But we maybe focus on the fact that we are supposed to
Sure.
talk with the godforsaken king.
This is a very Hadrada thing to look at a fucking wall as we're being hailed.
Hold
by
on, there's a
king.
pot of stone to look at, King.
It's hard to say. It's very clean craftsmanship. There's almost no tool marks, no imperfections, no mistakes, nothing. It's very clean.
Also, because this is stone, a check for stone and like the likes, I do actually have a +6 and not a +4, so it would be 12 or 13.
13. Yeah, I mean, I would say the takeaway is still the same.
Okay, thank you. On that, Hardrada will lead the charge into the throne room.
You mean
I'm
catch
taking my
up because we all left without you.
I'm taking my sweet time looking at the stone. I'm with Hadrada. As long as no one's dragging me here, I will keep looking at this thing at my own pace. I don't like royalty.
Moss and Tony
Um,
definitely carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I will Misty step to try and catch up with.
I will leave the king waiting if no one's dragging me with them.
No, I'm dragging you. I just said
Okay.
I'm dragging you. I feel very wow. That is not very nice of you.
Okay.
How dare you?
I'm wearing a mask. No one will recognize me anyway. Or, well, a scarf. On my face.
Okay.
Oh, well.
So, eventually, the rest of you catch up, and Tony and Moss, you would be the first ones there, I believe. And
I'm looking very proud.
you see the guard who's been leading you this whole time knelt before the king, and you see the king sitting in a carved stone throne, and there is a banner with a house sigil behind him, and it looks like a silver rose with cracked stone behind it.
Beautiful.
Moss
And-
will take a place kneeling behind the guard that is currently kneeling,
Okay.
kind of off in diagonal.
And the guard says to the king, "We have visitors from Wintervale. They bring news from Duke Silentfury." And he says, "Well, what is it then, friends? Stand."
Moss will rise, and as he rises, reach in between his breastplate and his chest, and pull out the mark of thing that I have written down but don't have open currently, and hold it up to the king. It is like a mark from Duke Silentfury, my king, and like head bowed, holding out the note to him as he approaches and hands him the note.
Okay. Yeah, and he stands from the throne, and you get a pretty good look at him as he stands up. He is clad in heavy plate armor, and
Ooh.
it seems like his he has some kind of like cloth clothing underneath with almost like a hood that comes up over his head through the armor, and sitting on top of that is a very large golden crown. Not your typical, like, kind of triangle-shaped teeth one. This almost looks more like branches that have been weaved together and crossed, and it looks very woody. If it wasn't for the fact that it was made from gold, it would look like wood.
Fucking golden Jesus crown, that's metal as shit.
And the covering over his head is like a dark color, and it just shows like the outline of his face.
Oh, it's up. Oh shit.
Mhm.
Okay. Can I, from like my slightly kneeled position and then in the rising as I approach with the letter, get a decent look at his face?
Yeah. Yeah. His face is very angular. He has like kind of like the very proud like jawline. He's clean shaven, and
Is he human?
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yeah. He is human, and it's hard to tell what his hair color is because the hood he has up is covering it. But given from like his eyebrows, maybe like a light brown color hair. At his side is a very large, wicked-looking mace with like very pronounced spikes coming off of it that kind of curl up and are very pointed and sharp at the end. And the actual head of it is relatively large.
Is this similar to like any weaponry I've seen like in the Feywild? It sounds very like fucking metal to be in the material plane, to be like naturey mace. That sounds cool as shit.
Roll a history.
Oh yeah, great at that. Oh, okay, sure.
Ooh.
Can I guidance myself? Is that okay? Would he get mad if I started casting something in front of him?
There's no way to know until you try.
There, not gonna test it. It's a king. Fuck that.
Okay.
Take my 15.
It looks similar to some things you've seen in the Feywild.
Similar, but not
Nothing
exactly.
Yeah,
Alright.
nothing really that would strike you as like, oh, that's so-and-so's mace.
Yeah.
But the craftsmanship looks similar-ish to some things you've seen.
Similar to Fey weaponry, but not the same.
Mm-hmm. The head of the mace itself is almost like a large diamond shape, and it just has these like just gnarly spikes coming off of it.
I've got respect for a man who holds a mace.
This king doesn't seem like the type to sit on a throne all day. He seems like a warrior king.
Absolutely. Does his face bear any resemblance to the face on the caricature that Durgit was looking at earlier?
Yes, the first one that they were looking at, it does seem to resemble him.
Just making sure. I assumed as much, but just wanted to confirm it. So Moss will hand
The
him
one
the
with
letter.
the one with the
Oh.
giants, not the
Yes, not the
temples.
sailor,
Yeah.
the king leading the army. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Moss will finish handing him the note and say, "From Duke Silentfury, my liege," and then take a couple steps back and kind of like correct his posture and stand next to Tony.
And he says, "Ah, the Duke lives. Good to hear. Good to hear."
As does all of Wintervale. My apologies.
And
Bit nervous.
And he says, "Had I known that they were being invaded, I would have helped. I would have helped them. I would have sent help as soon as I could."
Yes, it seemed the Duke unfortunately had some sour members of his company among him. But luckily for him, we helped root them out, helped to root out the greater battle with the help of a dear friend of mine, and made our way here to assure you of Wintervale's safety.
So the battle.
That we-
So the battle is won.
Indeed.
Indeed, yes.
Well,
Ah,
my first thought would be to recall my soldiers that I sent, but who knows, Wintervale could need all the help that they could get.
Well, we did try to convince them, but they are very steadfast in their orders. So well done in training them.
Well, yes, that's the benefit of having men who respect you.
Of course, of course.
And he reads the note and begins kind of going over the finer points of it and says, dragons. That was quite unexpected. We haven't seen dragons in these parts for hundreds of years.
But there is one not too far north from here.
And he says, well, we'll have to go and eradicate it as soon as possible.
Oh, no,
We don't want a
that...
repeat of what happened.
No, sir,
No,
that would be the dragon that saved Wintervale, my good king. That would be my dear friend, Addy.
And he says, well then, I hope for Addy's sake he stays friendly and doesn't cause too much trouble.
He can be a bit sour, but he's not going to hurt anyone.
And he says, but moving on, and begins reading through more of the letter, and says, this Baron, I know this man, he killed my brother.
Oh,
Well, we have killed him.
yes.
He is very dead, my king.
And what of Blackfield? I'd left it in my brother's care, but then this Baron, self-proclaimed title I might add, came and invaded it and murdered him outright.
Well, it is now without its baron.
Unfortunately, in a rather sour state as well.
Probably occupied by a cult.
And he says, yes, well, with him gone, it should be fairly easy to send men out there to reclaim it, bring it back up to prosperation, pull the people out of the mud, so it were.
I'd be happy to see it return to a state less disgraceful than when we first visited.
And he reads through it and says, when this Baron died, it says he turned into something.
Two somethings, actually.
What was it that he turned into exactly? Did you see it with your own eyes?
I crushed it into my own boot.
Turns to Hadrada. Are you able to do any illusion-y stuff?
And he says, yes?
Can you make a visage of the Baron for the king?
And Hardrada says, if that would be alright with the king.
We turn to the king.
Yes, by all means, please.
Now my question is, should I use Phantasmal Force? Actually, that might cause psychic damage. I'm gonna use Minor Illusion to,
Let's use the illusion spell, huh?
Well, Phantasmal Force is an illusion spell. It just causes psychic damage if they're too scared.
Let's not look at the king, huh?
Yeah. So, I'm going to use Minor Illusion to create a visage of the Baron before he died. Specifically the weird bird Baron thingy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like human Baron.
Yeah.
Transformed. Form 2, Phase 2 Baron.
And the king looks at it, and he kind of like puts his hand like on his head and like holds his head with his hand and says, "That's enough. I've seen enough. This is not good. Do you know what that was?"
Well,
Do I know what it was?
he gave us a very cryptic message before stamping him out.
There's a council?
Circle.
Circle?
Circle of 13 total.
13.
Yes. I know the story well. If they're here, this is not good.
Wait,
Would
I'm sorry,
you be
my
able to
king.
enlighten us?
Let's
Yes, enlighten us.
Please, I've been dying to know what this circle is. It's driving me mad.
And he says, these are a race of beings completely consumed by their thirst for knowledge. However, instead of finding this knowledge through normal means such as libraries and world experience, They instead take to crumbling and destroying civilizations and taking the knowledge by force, leaving a dried husk of what once was. These, dear people, are called Nagpas. And if they're here, this is not good.
That would explain the situation in Blackfield.
He
Sorry,
said,
real quick, Nagpas?
yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Do I recognize the name from my terrible studies that I failed as a
Or from my time in another plane of existence.
budding watcher?
I would say being in another plane of existence wouldn't give you any sort of advantages, but you guys can roll history.
I'm not looking for advantage, just knowing what the fuck's going on.
No.
19! What are with my 0 rolls today, y'all? What the fuck?
Okay. So I would say things like this in the Feywild, there might be similar things, but as far as these...
Nothing about a Nagpa.
No, nothing specific.
Yeah. That's all I needed was confirmation that there's nothing.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, so he just looks there and just kind of shakes his head. There's like a Nagpa.
And he says, and this Baron told you there were 13, a circle of 13.
13 total,
After-
although he did die, so...
Oh no, my friend, trust you me, there's still 13. You didn't happen to find anything on this Baron.
You know, now that you mention
A
it, we did.
jewel or a lamp or some sort of trinket.
A
An
big
orb?
black swirling orb. Perhaps.
Just as I feared. That, my friends, is a phylactery. You must destroy it.
That is the plan.
When
And that is why we've sought your aid, my king.
When he said he'll be back, that is his means of coming back.
Oh.
I don't know how, I don't know where or when, but that is the key to him coming back, and it must be destroyed. If this circle of 13 does not have their 13th member, their power is useless. They can be rooted out and destroyed before they take a hold in this land.
But if they do have their 13th member?
Then all is doomed.
I don't suppose you would happen to know about destruction of a phylactery?
Well,
Me? No. I'm
But
just a warrior.
there is one who does. One, of a dear friend of ours. Again, this Mr. Addy. He said... Yes, he gave us leeway that if possible, it's possible that the forge is here. Obviously, you're not going to burn bright enough. He didn't mention something of the world forge, but I understand that's continents away. But slightly farther away, there is there's a possibility at my home within the Feywild. This, my king, is why we've sought your aid.
English, it's a hard
It
language.
seems I currently, although I did manage to get here through the help of another friend of mine, I'm unable to get home. But if we were able to get home, I'm certain that I'd be able to use my connections and get this, as you called it, a phylactery, to one of these forges of the Feywild where it may be able to be destroyed.
And he says, that would probably work. As long as it's not in our realm, it's almost as good as it being destroyed. But not quite,
Oh.
because it can always be recovered. These Nagpa are filthy creatures who perverse and betray everything they touch. I have no doubt they'd be able to travel between realms and even time, perhaps.
Time.
That makes things a bit wonky.
Tony's eyes open wide in wonder, like, what?
But no one can see it because he has his helmet on.
No, no one has any idea.
So Moss will, kind of just straighten up his posture. It's like, well, this, my king, is why we need your help. We understand you have in your cult a high mage.
Oh, yes. We would be very eager to meet him.
Moss kind of like puts a hand on Tony's shoulder. We would seek an audience with your permission.
And he says, Drakken. Yes, Drakken
Indeed.
may indeed be able to help you. And he says, follow me, I will take you to meet him.
Thank you, my king.
Thank you sincerely.
Moss like tightens his grip a little bit.
Hey, Moss, he isn't even your king. What the?
Moss knows how to speak to royalty.
Still a title, you know.
Tony's little feet start tapping on the floor.
And
Moss, go.
and King Dawnstead stands up and says, follow me, and walks to the far side of the room where there's a doorway and goes through it, and you go into a large stairwell, and he begins walking up, and you follow behind him, and he goes what seems like to the highest point of the castle, and comes out on one of the landings and goes through one of the doors, and as you open it, you see a cloaked figure with a tail like sticking out from the back of his robes over different like glass vials and different beakers, and kind of mixing things around, and he has different ingredients like strewn about on his table. So, standing at the doorway, you look in and see this hooded figure, and he turns around and sees the king and sees you and says, my lord, what can I do for you? And King Dawnstead says, I have visitors from Wintervale. They seem to have a particular issue that may well affect all of us. And Drakken kind of looks around at all of you and looks at the king and says, and what problem might that be, my lord? And he says, Nagpas, Drakken. They've returned. And he says, are you sure? We haven't seen them in millennia. And King Dawnstead says, they've seen it with their own eyes. Unless I have any reason to disbelieve them, which I don't, I think it's true. The time is upon us.
Might I ask what race, Drakken is?
Dragonborn.
Okay,
Can I
I
ask
didn't
what
know if you
color
said that, and I'm just
the
deaf
emblem
or
is?
something, but,
Can I ask what scale this Dragonborn is?
Yes, red.
Red.
Mhm.
Chromatic? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Can I detail that throughout this entire conversation, Tony is looking around this place like, what? At everything on every desk. If there's anything hung on a wall, he's staring at it. He like puts his hand up to it, but then doesn't touch it in case it's dangerous. But he's
Moss
still like,
keeps
whoa.
his hand on Tony's shoulder, and anytime he reaches, there's a squeeze.
I just
Yeah.
imagine Tony pointing at something like, "Hey, what's that?" And Drakken's like, "That's water."
So,
Water.
Magic water. No, just water.
her daughter will ask, Drakken, do you have a box of spiders laying anywhere?
what
That is
the
an odd
fuck,
question.
Hadrada?
And he looks at you and says, my, that's an interesting way to introduce yourself to somebody.
I see. I know that you can get to know a lot about someone through their initial statements.
Yeah, you've just found out this one's weird. My apologies.
Right, introduction. I'm Talia. Like, holds her hand out to, like, for shake, because she does that when she's excited to meet people.
And he kind of draws his hand back a little bit, and King Dawnstead says, you'll have to excuse him. He has some social anxieties. He came from a place not very kind to his race. And he
But
says,
would it make
but
you
I
more
truly mean
comfortable?"
no offense by it. I'm quite sorry.
It's alright. She withdraws her hand. She's excited.
Sir, would it make you more comfortable to speak to one of your own race?
And he says, I don't think that's necessary, no.
Fair, just making sure. Like to make people comfortable. My name, sir, and he like left hand out, right foot on stomach, left foot back, very deep bow, is Machina Silphon. very deep bow, kind of showing himself off in this same gesture, letting the sleeve of his green cloak kind of roll up a bit. Just kind of like, hey, look at me, I'm magic.
And he says, Drakken, lovely to meet all of you.
He's meeting all but one, as someone is still off in the middle distance, oohing and ahhing at things.
Moss kind of like taps Tony on the side again.
Oh, hello. I
yeah?
walk up and give a traditional dragonborn greeting. Say,
And he
Tony,
returns it.
at your service. Hand out.
No hands, Tony.
And he just kind of looks at it, and you see like his own hand kind of go like under his robe, and says, "You'll have to excuse me. I'm not very comfortable around most people. That's why I stay up here most of the time and stick with my work. Much easier that way."
And I
But
grab
do
my
you
own
have a
hand
box
and
of
give it a
spiders?
shake.
What's that?
But do you have a box of spiders? You seem like the most reasonable person to have a box of spiders.
What do
So
you
he's-
need a box of
roll
spiders
persuasion.
for?
He's like, so he's not gonna let this go until you answer. Just tell him you don't have a box of spiders.
Persuasion.
But I do have a box.
That will be a 15.
And he says, Fine, yes, 15 gold, please.
And take out 15 gold. Give him this.
Surely you understand, I caught these myself.
It's not even a magic box. Moss kind of like puts his head on his head, starts laughing a bit.
How do you even go about catching spiders?
And he looks at the king and says, My lord, may I ask what prompted this visit, however? I understand
yes.
I'm gifted in magic, but I don't quite understand what's expected of me. And
Moss will turn to the king and just like kind of look at him. Just like, you want me to take this or you got it?
And he looks at you and says, it might make more sense coming from your own mouth. I'm still wrapping my head around it as well, so...
Yes, my king. Like deep, solemn bow to the king, and then very much change of temperament as he turns to the high mage. All right, so, as you can tell, not quite from here. Another person, not quite from here. If you're aware, there's a dragon up in the mountains, a bit north of you, a bit higher than Spirite. Up in those mountains, there's a good friend of mine, also not from here. We are from a plane known as the Feywild. Are you familiar?
And he says, I've heard of it, yes. I've never
Yes.
been myself, but I know of its existence.
Yes. Could you, though?
Could I what?
Go there.
Not without some magic that's greater than mine.
Moss kind of like head in his hands. God, damn it.
I told you.
Hey, listen, not right now.
He
Not
says,
you.
But also, to be completely honest, I've never had much interest in traveling between dimensions or realms. I'm
That is.
quite happy here where I am.
If I might ask, then, what is your main focus of study? You do seem to have, and he like kind of looks through the laboratory, quite a bit going on in here.
And he says, well, mostly I tinker with potions, and I am able to transmutate certain things, and illusions are always fun.
Jola has a smile.
What is
Tony's just very intently listening.
if I were to ask you how one would manage to travel between planes? We have some idea, but it's rather untasteful. Would you perhaps be able to point us in the right direction?
And he says, well, in order to get to a different realm, you would have to find a tear in reality. As you may suspect, they're not that common to find. Some appear randomly, and others stay for hundreds of years before they simply bloop out.
Have I learned anything about reality tears in Watcher School?
Roll history.
That's a no. Where did my character sheet get? There it is.
Gotta have faith, darling.
You never know.
There it
Damn.
is.
19.
Damn.
You would have probably picked up a few things, yeah.
This is the one class that didn't fail.
It takes a tremendous amount of temperament on the caster's behalf to even begin any sort of like a tear in reality. It's so chaotic and wild that the caster themselves have to be very even-keeled in order to even begin. As far as like natural tears, I wouldn't say that you know of any specifically. As Drakken said, some of them kind of pop up at random intervals, and others stay around in other areas for a while, but almost none are, forever.
I rattle off that first little stinger of information, like exactly how Tony heard it in this first lecture, almost to show off that I know what I'm talking about. I'm magic. Please like me.
Aw.
Wait, when you say, you mean the caster has to be level-headed? Is that what you mean, Tony?
There are many interpretations of this.
Yeah, because
I mean, if
Hisam
you-
definitely is not calm. but
Bound
yet
of
he
mind
dominated.
and body.
If we talk
Exactly.
about chaos, then Hadrada might be able to do that.
Did someone say chaos?
Adrada, I can assure you, is not able to do that.
He said,
Not yet.
and he says, if you do know of a way to get to the Feywild, and you must get there, I urge you, no matter how unpleasant it might be, you must go. Unless you're willing to travel around the world and wait around for hundreds of years for a tear in reality to happen.
Well, so let me ask you this. This may not be your forte, but maybe you have some knowledge as a man of science. The reason why we seek the Feywild is to destroy the phylactery of one of these Nagpas. Now,
He
as
says,
you know,
phylactery.
indeed.
Then
It's a new word for us, too.
Then you truly didn't kill it.
Not yet. Well, yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we need to get to the Feywild. So, yeah, we need... Yes, sorry, let me fill you in on everything. My apologies. My bad. The forges of the Feywild, as you can see, he kind of like looks at his hand. Well, not quite sure, honestly, about that one, but the forges of the Feywild do burn hot, and they do burn bright, and they are very, very powerful, more powerful than anything we can see here. Well, maybe not anything. What knowledge do you have of this world forge up to the north?
And he says, Uthad, I haven't been up there in quite some time.
Third.
And he says, if you do go there, don't expect much civilization. There's almost none to be had. Instead, you'll find roaming nomads of Goliaths. Some dwarves, perhaps, might still be there. I'm not quite sure. He says, but the world forge itself has been sealed off for millennia. No one has been able to crack it and get into the main sanctum. We know it's there, we know it exists, but no one stepped foot in it, and he just kind of trails off.
Yes, no, that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Hardrada gets on his face and like looks around at his party.
Just kind of scratches the moss on the top of his head. Just kind of lost in thought for a bit as he processes. Do we know why it was sealed? Does anyone know?
Nobody knows. There's speculation, there's rumor, but besides that, nothing that's been proven.
If you were to give weight to one of those rumors, which one would you say at least rings the most true? At least that sounds the most possible, let's say.
And he says, well, one that circulates around quite a bit was there was some sort of supreme being who had made a home and a workshop of sorts there. If any of those are to be believed, she simply did her earthly work and closed up shop for good, as they say. I would love to see what's in there, though.
Arjoda reciprocates this, but you can all tell that his eyes are shifting a little more, sort of like how Mata's eyes were.
Like a focus in. At the
Yeah.
same time, one of Moss's eyes is probably focusing in as well.
I'm imagining Hadrada's eyes doing the same zoom thing.
That's
It's
what I'm
so
like. His
good.
pupils dilate. But so yeah, Moss kind of sits there, and I was like, well,
And he
No.
says, this phylactery, did you bring it with you?
unfortunately not. We thought storming the High King's castle with a large black flowing mass flying behind us might be a bad idea.
And,
Currently, it lies in Duke Silentfury. So
And
Yes.
King Dawnstead says, good thing. You wouldn't have made it past the front gates.
not my idea, but I appreciate
Trust me,
it.
wouldn't.
Drakken says, if I could see it and look at it, I might be able to draw more conclusions about it, but as it stands now, I know very little of phylacteries, and
Well, kind of looks across to the party. If possible, you could come with us to Wintervale and see it for yourself before we make final decisions on what we do with it.
and he, as you say that, he kind of, no, I never leave.
Well then, nothing to learn then, is there? We could bring it to you, but, and then turns to the king. Like I said, big spooky black tower, and then that hangs out around the phylactery, so that'd be here as long as it was here.
And the king says, I'd very
It
much...
blocks the sun.
Yes, I'd very much try to avoid that. Drakken, why don't you go with them? And Drakken says, my lord, you know I don't leave.
We do have quarters at the Duke's palace.
Do not pressure him.
And he says, I'm not worried about that. The world scares me. It's a big place with many scary things in it. No, I'm safe here. This is familiar.
Well, how about this? If you're traveling with us, I promise they will be looking at me, not you. And if anything scary comes, Tony will kill it.
Roll persuasion.
Did I get advantage from Tony, like punching his fist? Being like, yeah, I'm a big man. In the
Ooh.
back.
I give you
I'd say just a straight roll.
can I just give you bardic inspiration on that one? Just
Is that
so you
okay?
can-
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Oh,
something
yeah. I
that
was
they can
making
do.
sure.
You have a D8 at your disposal, so I
D8, and I will also use a guidance on myself if that's okay. Like during all that, he's doing these very showy hand motions and guiding himself. So that is a straight persuasion roll. Wait, we got 2 dice. We got a. Oh wait, no. You know what else we got? We got fucking luck. We got luck, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on.
You really want this to happen, don't you?
You're goddamn right, I do.
Don't
That's
pressure the poor guy. What the
A
fuck?
good thing we've got one
Persuading, it's a
more.
persuasion roll.
All right, let's go with the 7. We'll go with that 7 because I do get to pick. That's a beautiful 2 nat 1s in a row.
Wow.
That's 2 nat 1s, 2 sessions in a row, by the way, might I add.
Well, I said that wouldn't happen.
No,
And then-
what are these?
Sorry.
odds?
Add on a d8. Nice, that makes it 8. Please.
Come on.
Okay, we got 12.
And he says, No, I'm afraid not. I don't feel comfortable leaving.
Well, then I guess the Circle of the 13 will be complete and the world is doomed. Well, I guess the world gets destroyed. You'd like that, wouldn't you? It's not too nice to you.
And
Hardrada just sort of like,
and he looks at the king and kind of gives him a look. And the king looks at you, Moss, and says, You'd be wise to hold your tongue. You are in the presence of a high king and his mage, I might add.
I would, my king. I have
We're
no
not fellows down at the pub.
I put my hand on Moss's shoulder the same as he did me looking at magic stuff.
Strange thing, though, the person who's actually proficient in convincing people to do whatever she likes. It's just Talia like pushes through, like, because Tony and Moss are probably like standing at the front of the room. She like pushes through. There's a rather I don't know, smaller elven woman in front of these like two giant metal men.
Yeah, not even that small, just small in comparison.
Yeah. So like, it's just like it's just that we have
and
to travel.
Hardrada
back.
will use Mage Hand to cover Talia's mouth.
No, what? Why?
Because we are pressuring this dude into doing something he obviously doesn't want to do. I'm with Skull on this. Or, well,
So you
Durgit.
just forcibly silent Talia, so then Moss will grab Hardrada and look at him. Not angrily, just stare at him.
This looks like a Renaissance painting in my head. A box of spiders and a robot.
Hardrada, let Talia talk, hey? And one eye zooms in very tight.
And Hardrada takes out his eye and throws. No. Hardrada, like, sorta, like.
Give her a shot, yeah?
Hardrada says, Yes, but.
Give her a shot. Kind of like eye slowly opens. It's like, trust her, alright?
I use mending to repair our friendship. No,
That's gonna take more than one cast, Hardrada.
I guess I'm gonna release Talia.
Talia slowly turns and gives you like a death stare and does this like I see you motions where she like points at her eyes and points at like Hardrada.
And Hardrada will say, however, I do suggest you be careful though, because you know, don't pressure the dude.
Right. So Talia, finally allowed to speak. She says, "It's just. I mean, we wouldn't have to talk to anyone else other than us, perhaps. And it's just that, you know, we'd have to go back to Wintervale and then go back here, and that journey took us a while, and I'm not sure if we can waste any more time by unnecessary travel, so it would just be the easiest option if you would to come with us. And I know it's probably like not very pleasant for you, and sometimes in life things aren't very pleasant, and I mean the fate of the world is kind of
yes, I
laying
know,
in
that's
our
why I stay here.
Wait, I'm very confused. Who said we have to get this thing over here?
Are
We
you
can just-
confusing Estelle with Durgit right now? Because you're speaking
No.
in a very German accent.
I am fully aware it's on purpose because Durgan pretends to be another person right now.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. I forgot.
Durgit who?
Mine.
It's Brunhilde who's
Yeah.
bad at common.
Yeah,
Hildegard.
Brunhilde.
Whose common is weirdly good for somebody who's bad at common.
So it would be an option, but we can take Phylactery, get to Feywild, and that's it. We don't have to get it here.
Yes,
What's the
but
issue?
If he studies it, we can learn more about it and maybe destroy it. Even simpler. Or
We-
at least know more about it.
Yeah, but if it's kaput, then why do we have to know about it?
Because just because it's there doesn't make it kaput. Any knowledge is necessary.
What means broken? I hope you guys know that.
Yes, we know what kaput means.
Besides, at this rate, we can just destroy the thing, and then kill another person of the circle of 12. Get that phylactery over here.
I
So-
assume they'd all have something similar to the cloud. But then that also
They
assumes
have-
we find another member of this circle.
They're same race, and we have to kill all.
But
I think.
I know they're the same race, yada yada yada. But the Baron also didn't look like that until we killed him.
Okay, but just destroying thing would be easier than travel across country.
Yes, easier does not mean the best option.
It is the best option for him.
For him, not for the world at large.
We'll be fine.
Will we? Turns to the
Yes.
group. I'm pretty sure they turns to the king. Apologies for my earlier transgression, my king. Bit heated. You did mention if the circle is completed, it's the end of everything.
They will be complete and be able to wreak havoc upon the world, yes. I
And we
assume
know-
that was their plan before this 13th member was killed.
And now, and here's the biggest thing. We don't know if it can be destroyed in the Feywild. That's a guess by Addy. We don't know. We could just go there, I get to meet up with my friend, and then we do fuck all. And then, like the king said, it's better there, but they could probably still get there. And yeah, I can leave it with, and then kind of like turns to the guy, my friend, and it'll be fine.
Well, if not,
But we
if
don't-
not in the, if not in the Feywild destroyed, then we can get it here.
Again, getting it here means bringing the darkness over the kingdom, which the king would not like.
Well,
That
if
is
I
it's,
know.
very bad.
if it's the only way, I mean,
Well, it's
I-
not the only way, is it? And then turns to the dragonborn. Moss is just kind of looking at him again.
and he says, I suppose not. Let's say theoretically I follow you to Wintervale. Are you bringing me back? What about
If
when
you'd
you
like.
leave? How am I supposed to get back?
Well, you could either wait for me. I will be the fastest means of transportation, I assure you. If you have any means of teleportation, you could use those. I understand some of the higher mages can do that. But yeah, I will be your quickest form. But like the king said, the forces of evil are vanquished. You could just travel with a party back. It is the Duke Silentfury. He is rather well accommodated. Maybe not in looking around the castle as well as here, but it's nice there, right? Turns to the party, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
have your peace and quiet.
Not for
once
someone
they're-
scared of people.
Alright,
You did fine,
roll
didn't you?
me one more persuasion.
Can I go for it, please?
Whoever wants to, but just one of you.
And I assist Talia with that speech.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Sure.
You've got to be fucking with me. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Is that
That's
can I
Not
help
one.
with my speech, Mike?
Yeah.
As I tried to finish, so it's 19 plus a guidance, if that is
Pretty
allowed.
bad.
Again, talking big gestures, guiding Talia, giving her that little boost with guidance.
I mean, if you think you need better than a 19, sure.
I do. To convince someone socially inept from going outside, as someone who that used to be, 19 would not convince me. How about a 23 though? That feels good.
And
That's me though.
he looks around at his room and says, you know how long it's been since I've left here?
The world is better now.
That's what they said last time.
It's not that better, but at the very least,
Wow. Okay. Thank
I
you
will
for.
will go with you. But just know, I don't want to, and I don't like it, and I'm probably going to be very scared the entire time.
We'll protect you.
well,
Can assure
maybe-
you I can put your fears at rest.
And if I may, as an apology, and Moss will
I'm not a fighter, I'm a scholar.
Moss will
Yes,
reach
that's
up
what
and
we're-
pull the cloak off of his shoulders and hold it out to Mr. Drakken. say, I apologize for being rather heavy-handed. I have a goal that I must be met.
And D
And
says, well, it doesn't matter as long as you get your way, right? Let's go.
Sir, take this, please. It will make your travels much easier. I'm
And-
sure you can see what it is. Like, holds it to him.
He looks at his own cloak and says, but I have a cloak.
Can it do what this does? Kind of wry smile with no lips.
I would say he just sees it as a cloak. He doesn't know, like, what it is.
Sir, this is enchanted. Do you have identify? That is Moss talking character. No? Well, allow me. And he will kind of like gesture it and lay it out. This is how I get around. And he'll throw it back on himself because he's still attuned to it even though he took it off. And then throw the hood up. And then be a foot shorter and very plain clothes. And just be a human version of Hadrada. In plain clothes and now a hood. Like, I think at the very least, yeah, a tall Hadrada. Yeah,
Hardrada says, hey, that's not what I look like.
you're right. It's better.
And then Hardrada just gets like a really angry, like, pouty face on him.
I cast Fireball!
Can I ritually cast
And,
Thunderwave? He says, like dancing around.
He, like, slowly waves his hand and takes on the appearance of a kobold.
Ah. But at the very least with this, you wouldn't have to use your own.
And says, no thank you. And looks at the king and says, I don't like him. Not one bit. And you're forcing me to go with them. I hope you know that, your highness. And he says, Drakken, please, the fate of the world, keep that in mind. And he looks at all of you and says, alright, let's go.
Alright, no show for you. Puts the hood down, turns, and walks out.
Follows.
On the way out, Tony's gonna be talking to him like, trust me, it's gonna seem weird at first, but you're gonna love it eventually. It's gonna be a few days on the road, and then you're gonna be like, oh, this is way better. And it's like trailing conversation, like this whole time we're walking out.
And he says, I can guarantee you I'm not gonna like it.
Tony, stop
Let's just get it
harassing
over
him.
with.
Tony's on a personal quest to make this man love the outdoors again.
That's
Again,
not
what
how
if you never
anxiety
loved the
works.
outdoors?
Well then,
And he follows you out.
for the first time.
And the king says, please be careful with him. He may seem a bit prickly, but he is one of my oldest allies, and I do need him.
I'll be nothing but careful with him.
How old is the king?
About 40.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
And he says, if something happens to him, don't bother coming back. You will not be welcome. Do we have an understanding?
Yes. Well, sure.
Hardrada says nope and walks in the other direction.
Apparently we
It's a-
don't have an understanding.
Like, I mean,
You were
when I say
serious.
nope, I mean,
That's
like,
right.
I'm not being a part of this. I don't want to be a part of this.
Well, you are
And
part of this.
basically
so Moss
kidnapping.
grabs you and pulls you back.
We're not kidnapping him.
We're basically kidnapping
He
him.
has been
And-
given
Yeah.
an order from his king.
And you hear
Hadrada.
from the back, I don't want to be here, so yes.
Well, my king, we will do our best. And if not, you'll never see us again. So it's good for both of us.
And he says, Drakken, be safe. Try not to upset them too much if you can. I understand your predicament. And Drakken says, well, hopefully I'll be back soon, if I don't die.
You
He
won't.
won't die. Tony laughs off and
I
then
could
like
always-
realizes, oh god, he'll die.
I could just bring him back. It's fine. Moss walks away.
Oh, Talia follows. Walks next
Is
to
he still
Talia.
dragging Hardrada?
If you resist a follow, yeah.
I am resisting, so yeah.
Alright, then yeah, he pulls you.
And Drakken follows. slowly, very unenthusiastically.
Still
Like
carrying
the
that
way,
box of spiders.
on the way, I'd like to like just randomly ask Drakken questions about his magic and just like get him interested in like what he wants to talk about. Like, so like, what do you do here? Is like the Archmage? Is that cool? Seems like such a cool thing.
Yeah, and it's pretty stonewall, just very like singular answers.
I will get him to open up. It's my
Meanwhile,
quest.
Alia's going to ask Hadrada, what do you need the spiders for? Like anything specific? Are you like
Well,
Dragos?
I say no. I'm not trying to. I'm curious.
About spiders?
Yes, and their potential magical properties.
No, I could always just turn into a spider for you. I can do that.
But maybe he wants to take him apart.
Well, you can do
I'm
that
not
too. I'll
going to
just
take
pop
the
back into
spiders
this.
apart.
I mean, you could always try.
I'm not taking the spiders apart.
Just making sure, Hadrada. That was a test. You passed. Well done. And then he lets go of you. He lets go of you when he says, "I'm not taking them apart." Well done. Well
And
done.
Hardrada
And,
will reluctantly follow from there on.
And you guys walk out of the room, follow the king back down the stairs, back to the throne room. And the guard is still there, standing by the throne. And he sees the king come back and sit down and says, "My lord, you've returned." And he says, yes, Drakken is going with these visitors to Wintervale. And the guard, like, looks over, like, snaps his head over at Drakken and says, "Drakken, you're leaving the palace?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it either. Hopefully I come back in one piece."
You will.
I can personally attest to it.
I can reattach limbs. It's fine.
No guaranteed you will not be traumatized, though.
That does seem to be a trend, doesn't it?
You guys have to make it worse, dude.
I'm gonna laugh it off. Hahaha, good one.
Hey,
Oh no, I'm serious.
There's no-
you comedians.
There's no laugh from Moss. And he walks out.
Cool.
Yeah, and Drakken follows you wherever you're going.
When we get outside. Never mind. I was gonna do a thing and I can't do it. That's fine.
Well, now that we're done with the king, and turns to Tony, I did spot two on our way in. I just didn't know if you were distracted. Yes, I saw the puppy look. Come on.
What?
And first I will, on our way out of town, quick stop, do a we'll stop by we'll do the caduceus one as I scroll up in my notes. There's been a lot of notes this section. Holy shit.
Okay, so first of all, we're forcing some guy to come with us, and then we're dragging him on a shopping tour.
Damn right, shopping episode. We hit a town. The
I'm
Icy
determined.
Lotus. Moss will on the walk out of town just kind of like take a weird left turn that's definitely not to the front and guide us towards the Ice Lotus.
Okay. So you make your way to where you saw that shop front, and it is built into the side of the mountain, similar to all the other buildings. And there's almost like a carved threshold at the door, and the sign that has the Caduceus staff on the front of it. And,
I walk in,
okay.
Moss follows.
bustling, and say hello.
And you walk in, and there is a smaller male halfling behind the counter.
Hello, my good sir.
And he says, potential customers.
Potential.
How are you this fine day?
I am doing fantastically. How are
I
you?
like this guy.
And he says, well, if you're about to buy something, I'm going to be doing a lot better. What can I do for you?
Oh,
Well, let's see what you got, eh?
And he says, well, I deal mainly in potions. What are you looking for specifically?
Ooh, potions. Do you have like a stock I can peruse?
And he says, sure, just
Sure.
look around. And you see that there is an armor potion. There is a potion of enlarge reduce. There is a oil of sharpness. A potion called a potion of heroism.
You're about to say heroin.
A potion of speed and a potion of water breathing.
I'd like to take that laundry potion off that shelf and be like, I recognize this bottle.
Okay. He says, the potion of enlarge reduce. You have a good eye. You have a good eye. That'll run you 50 gold.
My sir, an easy price. Thank you.
And he says, no problem, no problem. Anything else?
Do you have a pen and some paper? Or, well, a quill and some paper. Maybe a magic quill, if possible? Like a trinket?
A
He
quill
says-
that never runs out of ink. Beautiful.
He says, I have a quill, ink, and some paper. Yeah, but they're not
For sale?
enchanted. They're not enchanted.
Oh, okay. Well, can I have
And he looks
a
at
quill and
And he looks
paper?
at Drakken and says, Drakken, he could probably enchant it for you. And Drakken says, No, I'm helping, but no, I'm not doing any personal favors, at least not for free. And looks around all of you and says, if you want anything, you better get your gold pouches ready.
Be more than happy to.
Actually,
I didn't know
yes,
you were
that
so prolific at enchanting.
If you're willing to take commissions, absolutely, sir. Moss kind of like pats his very heavy coin purse.
And he says, excellent. I'm overcharging you, by the way, so...
Yes, absolutely. We'll make sure you come back alive. Thank you.
And
He turns back to the potion guy.
And the halfling looks around and says, but for the quill and ink and paper, that's 2 silver. I won't charge you too much for it.
Yeah, I don't have
Relatively
silver. Okay.
mundane. And he looks around at the rest of you and says, so, how about the rest of you? Anything else?
Any healing potions?
Oh, sure. We got lots of healing potions.
Yeah, anything above greater would be fantastic. Greater supreme, of course.
And he says, ooh, we're just out of greater. I sold the last one
Ooh.
earlier this morning.
Bummer. Moss walks out.
Just
Very
bummer
dramatic.
leaves.
Like throws door open. We'll wait outside for the rest of the party.
As this is happening, Herdroda's trying to balance the paper and the quill and the box of spiders, which he has not put in his backpack. He is still holding it out.
Okay.
Just like try to carry them all at once.
He is also going to leave with Moss.
Okay.
I believe there was. Oh god, I'm trying to remember the potions.
Speed and heroism are the two
Yeah,
in my brain.
I was thinking about heroism. I was trying to remember there was an armor potion as well. What's heroism do? Can you tell me a little more about the heroism potion? As I am a hero.
And he says, sure. You drink it, and for about an hour afterwards, you get 10 temporary hit points. It only lasts for an hour, though, so don't think you can drink multiple ones and they'll stack.
And the armor potion, I assume. Good old armor.
And he says, well, this one I have here is an uncommon one, and that would be 13 plus your dex modifier for AC.
Oh, look at my terrible dex modifier. In that case, I'm quite happy with my enlarged radius.
And he says, fantastic. Tell your friends. Send them my way if
that's
they
what I
need any
will.
potions.
I'll even tip him a gold.
And he kind of bites it and says, thank you.
No problem. And I leave. Da-ding.
I did just realize biting the gold coin is the medieval equivalent of like taking out the copyright pen and marking the 100 to make sure it's legit.
Yep.
This shit's fake, homie. The fuck?
Trying to sell me copper?
You trying to swindle me?
But yeah, so you guys leave the apothecary shop.
As Hadrada walks out before everyone else does, with his like, why can't I hold all these spiders? He'll just kind of look at him. He's like, need a bit of help there.
And
Maybe
Herdroda
you're alright.
says, I can hold all of this. I just don't want to put it in my
Clearly, you
back.
cannot. This is like papers falling and quill like barely balanced. I've got like an extra dimensional space you can put all of this in. Well, not the spiders, they'll die. But
Yeah, I'm keeping the spiders in my hands. You can hold the paper if you want.
well, it's just if you want. Your hands are full, man. You've got a box of spiders.
Okay, well, I'll hand him the paper and the quill. Balancing the spiders, and we'll trying to hand him it. Expertly, might I add. He's had some experience balancing things.
I'm marking Hadrada's paper and quill in my thing, so I know it's yours.
Okay.
What about this time?
by the way-
Tony walks out with a very smug look on his face.
How many spiders are in this box?
10.
10?
Mhm.
Is it marked 10 or did I count 10?
You count 10.
Okay.
You
Thank
count
you.
11, one of them ran away.
There used to be 50. You've been letting them get out. It's kind of weird.
I've been slipping them into your bags.
And now there's 8.
The average person eats 13 spiders in their sleep. No. But Tony, what's with that smug look on your face? That's
I
not
hold
bad.
up the bottle and say, "We got another one." Oh.
Well, here's a question. So as we start like just kind of mindlessly walking, but Moss is walking us towards the other one, the Arcane Secret. Ooh.
Mhm.
I was like, do you think if I was even bigger, would I be faster still?
Oh god.
Like I don't like I get
I
big.
don't know, you are heavier though.
True. I mean it's metal. Maybe if I dropped the metal, I think I'd speed up.
Maybe.
Turns to Drakken. Any insight?
And he says, "Don't know, don't care, metal man."
I'm very specifically not a man, but thank you. And turns. I am nothing and everything. And I will
make
walk us
Drakken a friend, I swear.
And he says, "Don't break your arm jerking yourself off there."
I don't have a dick to stroke, my friend. Good try,
Oh,
though.
he really hates us, doesn't he?
So to Arcane Secrets.
Indeed.
Okay.
Oh, secrets, plural. There's more than one. Fuck.
Okay. So yeah, you walk in, and it's not too far from where the Ice Lotus is. It's like across, the chasm in the middle of the town, and on the other side of the staircases. And you walk in, and it's a similar looking building carved into the side of the mountain, and carved threshold and the sign out front. And you walk in, and there are just magical trinkets everywhere. You walk in, there's like almost like a tabletop that has like different boxes with just different odds and ends and baubles in it, and stuff hanging from the walls and stuff behind the counter, and it looks like a pack rat lives here.
Tony's eyes scour these disgracefully cluttered shelves like, oh my god, there's so much.
Question, in this magical trinket shop, sorry, I'm asking so many questions. In this magical trinket shop, is there any like ink specifically for writing spells?
You would have to ask.
The
I would say, like, with how much stuff is here, it's pretty hard to like pinpoint any one thing.
Okay, fair enough. So I would walk up to the counter or wherever the salesman is. If there is one.
You don't see a salesman anywhere.
Is there a bell?
No, I wouldn't say there's like, the bell on the counter or anything like that.
Oh, so there's a counter.
Mhm.
Can I knock on the counter?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
So you do that, and you hear like a loud bang from the back and stuff falling, and you see like a small kobold come out from just this pile of stuff, like kind of like slithers out through the stuff and says, hello there. What can I do for you? Welcome to Arcane Secrets. I'm Herb.
All of this is yours.
It's all mine. And looks around, and his eyes kind of get a little wide. And says, "Why?
So do mine.
What do you want of it? This is my stuff."
So much.
And I say, finally, someone of my height, and say to him, I'm looking for some ink for writing spells, because I do know that there is a specific type of ink you do need to write a spell.
And he says, okay, 1 second. And you see him just kind of like dive back into like a pile of stuff and like kind of swim around. You see stuff moving like as he's underneath of it, and he comes out the other side and like hops over the pile and says, "Here you go. 10 gold, please."
That's fair enough. Okay, and I don't have any particular spells in mind, by the way. I'm just like I just want it because I sold my other one.
Stocking up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I will put that one in my bag, however, not like the other two. And the box of spiders is still out.
Okay.
Moss would, while Hadrada is talking to the shopkeeper, pop a quick detect magic at the back of the shop and see if there are any very strong presences, any stronger than any else around here. Like if there's anything that stands out magically that he can find for Tony.
Yeah, there are a couple like bigger signatures that you detect from that.
But going to the biggest two.
Okay.
What would those be? The things giving off the strongest vibes.
And you ask him about these particular items, and he says, yes, 1 second. And goes back like into like another like back room behind the counter, and comes out, and he has this giant morning star and says,
Lord,
this is a exact replica of King Dawnstead's mace.
Ooh.
Slightly magical, but not quite as strong as his.
What does it do?
Once per long rest, the bearer may use an action to transform this weapon into a magical raven that can deliver a message to anyone in a 50-mile radius, provided you know the name and face. And when it returns, it reverts to its weapon form.
It turns into a bird?
Well, I can do that.
But it's such a mace! You're like alive!
I mean, I'd say I could hit harder than a mace could.
Yeah, but you're like you could speak and things, and it's an inanimate object.
Pardon me, Herb. Yeah, let's put that to the side for now. I do believe my friend may be interested in that. What about that other one over there? And like pointing in the direction of the second strongest aura.
And he goes to the corner of the room behind where the counter is, and you see that it is like a mannequin head with a jester hat on top with little bells that hang off of it.
I love it. What does it do?
And he says, this, once per day you can cast Disguise Self on yourself.
Ooh.
Once per day?
I mean, it is...
Once per long rest, I should say. Sorry, clarify.
Once per long rest.
It is a bit flashier than what your partner made for me, but it's nice.
And he says, it's the best. It's a very hot item.
Really? And like turns to Drakken and flexes his jacket a little bit. Like, how much for that, sir?
And he says, for this is 75 gold.
Certainly cheaper. Kind of rubbing his chin. That's not a chin, it's just the bottom of the faceplate. Just thought about that.
So he's kind of grinning that he's got a shopping buddy now.
Yes, magic items. Are there any other particularly interesting auras? Is it all, are there any others in the area that he can see?
Well, I would say like the two biggest ones were probably those
Two?
items. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just anything else.
The
Just,
rest
like,
are rather minor. He
all right.
looks around and says, "I have a bag of holding. If you need one of those."
I do love a good bag of holding.
And he says, "Well, if you're interested, I could sell it to you for 150 gold."
150 gold is scraps to me, my man.
That does. We do only have one, turns to Tony.
This does kind of go against Tony's sensibilities a little bit.
Well, listen, I go against Tony's sensibilities a bit, don't I?
Yes, but
And you
make an
like me,
exception
don't you?
for you. I do. You're.
What if I put some moss on the bag? Huh?
Okay, I'd probably like it more then.
All right, how about we split it, and then we get you the mace just for fun.
Really?
Yeah, I'll cover the mace, and I'll split the cost of the bag for you.
Yes, please.
All right. Herb, my good man.
Yeah.
We shall take your bag of holding, and we shall take your mace.
Excellent.
What does the mace do again?
Turns into a
That's
raven.
Fucking bird Hadrada.
Turns into a fucking bird.
How cool is that?
It is pretty
once
cool.
per long rest.
Yeah, once per long
Once
rest.
a day.
And
Good
I
God.
say,
But
It's
I
still,
a
can do
man.
that, and then like I whip my hand, like a whisk, and say, you know,
yes,
But you're not a mace.
Yeah,
Talia stands there,
this
like,
is the argument
shaking
we
her
just
head.
had. I mean,
Talia
Hedra-
stands there, like, shaking her head. She's like, you two are adorable. That's an adorable look on the two of you.
neither of us have looks.
You're looking at two people who cannot make facial expressions.
You know what I mean. Don't take everything too literally.
And how much gold does that come to, my good man?
And he says, "Oh, all in all, tell you what, I'll do it for 200 gold."
Herb, you are indeed a businessman. And he like holds out his hand.
And he shakes it and says, "I always appreciate a good customer. Come on back anytime."
Herb, you've got yourself a returning customer. Assuming the king doesn't want us dead. So long, Herb, and turns and walks out.
As we're walking out, do I see anything very mundane that still seems interesting to me?
Oh yeah, there's tons of mundane stuff here.
Okay, how many of those do you want to detail to me?
How about
He's like
I'll give
Scrooge
you,
McDuck, but with garbage.
I'll give you like 6. How about that?
That's a mighty lot of things I'm about to buy.
So there is what seems to be a normal spool of thread.
Mm-hmm.
There is a pair of thick-rimmed glasses.
Ooh.
There is also what seems like outfit of clothing, trousers and shirt, just kind of normal everyday clothes. There is a gold coin on a necklace, and there is it looks like a small statue of some kind of deity. It's hard to tell which.
I would like to, with all of these items bundled in my arms, bring them to the counter and be like, like lay them down and be like, these. What do they do?
You don't even know what they do.
Okay. And he looks at the spool of thread and says, watch this. And he, undoes, a good bit of it, and the color of it currently is black, and he holds it up to his green shirt, and it turns green.
Oh, it changes color.
No, that actually is kind of awesome.
How much is it?
And he says, "Oh, for this, 10 silver."
I placed 10 silver on the desk.
Okay. What was the other things that I gave you? It was, the glasses, right?
Glasses, yeah.
And he picks up the glasses and says, "Now with these, should you have a little trouble seeing in the dark, this'll boost up your range of dark vision by 10 feet."
Tony looks at you in wonder, like, it can do what?
And he says, yeah, if you have trouble seeing in the dark, it'll give you 10 feet of dark vision.
How much for?
And he says, 5 gold.
5 gold on the count of 6. Screw it.
He looks at the clothing and says, now this one is quite interesting. And he picks up like a cup of like tea or something that he has and throws it onto the shirt. And the tea like goes and like stains the white shirt, and then instantly it's cleaned off. And
I
he
like
says,
have a concerned face for a moment as he throws the tea on it, and then it goes away, and I'm like, oh.
and he says, but not only that, and he pulls out like a
There's
dagger
more?
and like cuts just this huge hole down the center of it, and then it just stitches back up and heals itself.
Oh my. Price tag?
And he says, this one you understand might be a little bit more. It's 10 gold for this one.
10 gold for a shirt that could do that?
Yeah, Herb, you've been
And
holding out on us.
I place 10 gold on the counter again.
Short of getting away with murder.
And
Put this on your victim. You'll get away with anything.
and he looks at the coin and says, watch this one. And he throws it across the room, and he just kind of looks at you and holds out his hand, and it comes flying back into his hand. And he says, like it never left, see?
Tony's jaw drops, and he's like, oh my. By Bacob's arcane name, how much do I have to pay you for that flying coin?
And he says, 10 gold.
10 gold on the table.
What do you need this for?
It's
Oh, no. Moss is just kind of like rubbing his chin. If he had lips, he'd be smiling.
And he looks at the statue and says, this is a statue of Creona, the nature goddess. And basically, you can activate it once per day and gain 1d4 to an initiative roll.
Oh my. How much would this goddess statue be?
And he says 30 gold for this one.
30 gold. Is he pulling out? Is he like slowly hiking these prices up? Tony doesn't care. He places 30 gold on this desk.
Tony, I've got this one.
Place 30 gold on the desk.
Pushes your 30 gold away and puts his 30 gold down.
Okay.
Moss is paying for that one.
And
You can hold on to it, but let me take a look at that later, yeah?
More than welcome.
Thank you.
And he says, but besides that, I'm afraid I kind of don't want to part with anything else at the moment.
Of course, Heb.
Good sir, this is brilliant.
Already feel like I'm missing a part of myself. You don't mind if I buy some of those back from you, do you?
Yes. I'll be honest. These are my children now.
How about this? And he drops the sack of 230 gold in total from Moss's pocket onto the table. How's that filling your holes?
And he says, that's a good start. That's a good start. Okay. And says, all right,
I heard that sigh.
And says, I think I could live without it then.
Oh no. Oh, Moss. Oh, you.
Tony,
I can't believe this. Why are you? Oh no, Moss, I love you, but I liked you more when you weren't encouraging him.
Talia's just like rubbing her forehead in the back.
And you can see at this point, Herb is already like counting all the gold and just 1, 2.
Moss will
3.
take the bag of holding and just kind of cast however many druid crafts it takes to coat the entire outside of it, kind of like a chia pet bag of holding.
Okay, yeah, I'd say you'd probably be able to get it in like probably 2.
Yeah, so it's like it ever comes undone, I can just reach over, tap it, put some fresh moss on there. You know how it is.
all right, I've got glasses of seeing, coin of comeback, no stain shirt, thread of color, mace bird, and bag of holding. I'm missing at least something.
The mace. No, you got the mace.
Yeah,
Um,
got the statue.
There was the statue.
Yeah, got
There
that.
was the thread.
Yeah,
There was the glasses.
nice.
And there was
shirt.
the shirt, yeah.
And the coin.
Well, it's not just a shirt, it's like shirts and
Yeah,
pants that,
it's outfit of repair.
yeah, assumedly have the same properties.
Coin, but you said there's 6 things, and I've counted 5.
Well, because I think you stopped me before I got to the 6th one.
Well, that is fine, I apologize.
No, it's fine. I mean, I figured at that point, it was like, okay, yeah, no, that's enough. I'm like, you know, getting overwhelmed with all the cool stuff.
More magic items, Mike, now!
If he does not want to part with anything else, then I will happily
Hey,
take.
man, I got at least 5 or 6 documents full of, like, just stupid trinket stuff, so.
How many hours do you got?
Nice. Nice.
How many persuasion checks? Herb, how many you need?
Tony will thank the shopkeep. Old
He's-
kobold.
And he says, yeah, anytime. You know anyone that needs anything, you send them my way, huh?
Yeah.
Don't send them
We
over
will.
to that hack over at the Iced Lotus or whatever it's called. Send them to me instead.
You got it. And Moss walks out.
And as you guys walk out, Drakken kind of looks at Tony and says, you realize you got ripped off on all of those, right?
Don't even care, my man.
And he says, it's your money.
Yeah,
That
you
it
can do
is.
this cool thing called not caring. As Moss throws the door
I,
open.
I look around at the party and be like, magic item time!
He just
Right.
really likes magic.
Tony, I can assure you, you will probably complain, oh no, my money in like next city, so...
Who needs a shirt?
Moss kind of
Who's-
looks
Like that's one
down.
for Hildegard.
If you stab it, it's
Eh.
fine. Anyone wants a shirt and get stabbed?
It's pants too.
There's also pants.
Yeah, indeed pants.
Who here needs to get away with killing someone?
You.
I'm looking at you.
Slowly
We are all
turns to
staring at them.
It's
circle.
very
Right.
stylish.
I guess I'll take them.
Looks intensely at Durkit.
The clothes of I didn't get stabbed, fuck you.
Who wants it? Who
Clothes of
wants
getting
it?
away with murder.
I got some magic thread that changes colour. Ain't
I do
that
like
cool?
colors.
I don't
Don't know what you want to use this for, but it's... Look at it! It
Hey,
changes
look.
colour!
I think I'm the one with the most color here.
The rule on the thread is that it will match any color of fabric specifically that it's touched to.
But so here's the question, Mike. Let's get down to basics. Plant fibers can be made into shirts.
True,
I'm
but
being a
it
dick.
has to
I'm
be
being a dick.
refined to get that way.
Now let's talk about refinement, shall we?
Oh god.
No, I'm fine.
No.
No.
Like Hadrada's freaking silver mine over at your guys' keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just make some fucking ingots real quick, guys. Yeah, Moss, well, yeah, no, I don't wear clothes very much, so that's not for me.
Then thread goes in the
I
bag.
don't want it either.
Jar, do you want a piece of string?
I guess I'll take a piece of string. What to do?
It changes colour when you hold it to different fabric.
And also
Okay.
anything else a string can do.
Oh, I'll take it, I guess.
String
Kill
has
someone?
as many uses as you have ideas.
Oh.
Could use it to floss, could use it to
Just say,
tie something.
how dare you?
You can use it to kill someone, strangulation and all.
You could have a really good night with someone.
Oh.
Wait,
Colour
what?
statue.
Sorry, what?
What?
You know, sewing.
Yeah.
A
Like a
colour
show someone.
statue. It makes you go quick.
Less so for the statue. More for the goddess. I wouldn't mind taking that.
If you would
Everyone
like
all
to.
right with that? Moss will just kind of reach over.
Vaguely
No one
pray.
says anything. Kind of like slowly grab it. And then slowly pull it towards him.
Like taking the last slice of pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like, anyone gonna say anything? No one? Alright. And then he's gonna slip it into his You don't know. That one's not actually going in the bag. He's actually just gonna put that one like in a side pouch that he's got. How big is the statue? It's like a foot tall.
Yeah, it's like a small bust.
Oh, I was imagining it being like a small like little desk statue.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
mad.
it is. Yeah, it's not huge. It's it's like a small like bust. It's maybe it's like a foot, probably a foot tall.
So it's you said bust. It's got a face on it.
Yeah, it's a statue of a deity.
Oh, what do they look like? Moss has never seen this god before. What's the statue look like?
She looks similar to a cloaked Eldrin.
Ah, hell yeah. Moss just kind of like looks at it and like very slowly runs his thumb over the details of her face while
But
staring at the statue in his hands.
very much her the clothes depicted in the statue and even some of her appearance has a very like foresty nature to it.
Imagine if it was like a voodoo doll and you rubbing your hands on it and like there's some Eldrin somewhere that was just like slapping their face like, what the hell is happening?
My face! Yeah, he'll just kind of like take a moment, especially.
It's nightmarish.
No, just kind of like take a moment with the statue as he, I guess, walks us back to the front of the town.
As we walk, Tony whips out a sweet pair of shades from his bag, puts them on over the helmet.
There it is. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
How?
And
How?
Right, so the arms go into the helmet slot over my ears, but the shades themselves are on the outside.
Okay, but how do they just not fall off?
Magic.
and
Glasses.
it's so
I
bright
think
it's almost blinding.
Oh god. I'll take those off.
This is for dark vision, yeah?
Mhm.
Sunglasses are for inside.
Hmm.
It's like
Ah.
looking through night
Oh,
vision.
last
Somebody like
thing-
shines a flashlight into it, like
The
blinds
last
you.
thing is the coin.
I need to get varifocal lenses.
My eyes.
Ah!
So the last thing is the coin on the necklace. That's
Yes.
I'll take it.
Here you
Thank
go.
you.
You could throw it. Comes back.
Comes back. Okay,
Well-
I don't know how I should describe this in my inventory.
I put
Coin
it
of
coin.
yeet.
I put it as coin of comeback.
Coin of yeet.
Eat entry.
Well, it should
Coin
be
of yeet and yoink.
Yeah, it should be yeet backwards. It should be tier.
Yeet and yoink.
Eve.
Yeah, that's perfect. The coin of Heat and Yoink. It's gonna be a great stim toy.
But for later, if we could figure out how to put that onto a knife, could be pretty good for
Okay.
Durgit. Sorry. And
Filter.
Moss doesn't say Durgit. That was definitely an Ollie. What is Hildegard?
Yes, Hildegard.
I'm amazed I remembered that. I said that as a bullshit name.
Brunhilde.
You almost got me. I almost fucking said Brunhilde, and I was like, no, that's not it.
No, that was the other one.
I was like,
Hildy.
that could be useful for Hildegard here. As Moss catches himself.
Why not both?
Like, well-
Brunhildegard.
Brunhildegard. Sounds like a city. Moss will, I guess, if everyone keeps following him,
Curious thing.
lead everyone back outside of the city. Quick stop to Stone Grove.
Okay. Cool. So you guys are leaving the city and taking flight back to Wintervale?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get outside of the city, and Moss, I assume you're taking on the Ketso form?
Well, in a moment, once we are far enough away from the city, he goes, now, Drakken, do you have experience with druids before?
Not really, no.
Okay, this will look weird for you then. And then, and then morphs into a giant metal bird.
And he says, polymorph exists.
This is, well, he shakes his head. It looks completely different from polymorph. But
And
can't
he
say anything,
says,
so
okay, keep telling yourself that, pal.
you also can't hear me.
And so the rest of you were climbing up on the moss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Drakken does as well.
Oh no. and Moss will go and take off for, I guess since we gotta do same stops on the way back, just that same encampment we made in the valley in the mountains.
Okay. So, you guys make it to your previous campsite where you stayed at the night before, and the shelter is still dug out. There hasn't really been any rain or anything to kind of collapse it or mess it up in any way, so it's still intact when you get back.
Yeah, we left this morning.
Fantastic.
Home sweet home.
But you never know. I mean, started pouring out of nowhere last night or the other day.
I walk in and shout, "We're back!"
And Drakken sees essentially like the hole in the ground and says, "Ah, lovely, lovely." So
Oh yes,
this
because
is
everything
home,
is
huh?
immediately as it seems. And Moss walks down into the hole, very deep.
I said to him, "Was your objection not that you don't like people?"
And he says, "I don't like the outside."
Well, come inside then. I gesture him into the hole. With a
And,
smug look on my face.
and he walks in and says, "Ah, home sweet home then. Sure miss my
It's just for
castle."
a night.
But it's
Not
not
your
yours,
castle.
isn't it?
Yeah.
The room in the castle is mine, given to me by the king. So,
Not your castle though, is it? And Moss finishes making the fire and walks over to his room.
Talia goes to hers as well. It's like stomps.
Draken doesn't have a room.
Yep.
You could like.
Dragon can have my
Judith-
room.
Judith could stay in. Or yeah, Tony can't stay with Talia at the moment. Talia offers.
I was just gonna sleep in the living room.
Fair.
Harjada is going to firstly apologize to Drakken and say, "I'm sorry for my friends. They aren't usually this rude." And then walk
Yes, we
into his
are.
room.
and he
Moss
says,
yells for
"I
his room.
find that hard to believe, but nice try, kid."
And I
Very
walk
much.
to my room and
Yeah, Talia also kind of stomps to her room, like kind of drags spaz with her. It's like,
I don't stomp. I just sort of walk. Like
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
I
an angry
stomp.
walk.
Talia said that she stomps to her room.
Oh, okay.
with spaz info. It's like he does.
And Harjada will take out his box of spiders.
And begin eating them.
And begin eating. No, I'm going to use which one's my I don't have a restrainment spell, however I do have I don't have a restrainment spell. However, I do have Mage Hand, so I'm going to use Mage Hand to sort of restrain the spider, but not like too much, like not crushing it or anything, like just very lightly picking it up and making sure it won't like fall out, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I will start to I will first off take my pen or quill and paper back to Moss.
You coming to Moss's room then?
Yeah.
Moss says like a little too loud, like loud enough for the living room to hear. Man, that guy's rough, huh? As he's like handing you the paper.
And I say, I used to relate to him, but
Yeah, I stayed in a plane for 1,500 years. Get over it. That's life. Hands you paper. It's like, you're good.
Thank you.
Of course. Anytime.
And I'll head back to my room, and then I'll start sketching out the spider.
Like,
Oh, cool.
like drawing it out.
Yeah, and I will take as many tries as it takes to make it perfect, and then go to sleep. Or not perfect, but like, you know, well enough that it resembles a well-drawn spider. And whether that takes my long rest or just takes like a short rest and then I can use the rest for the long rest, I don't really mind. I'll probably just take a short rest even if it's not perfect. to do that and then take a long rest?
So roll a performance check.
Okay. Gonna be horrible. I told you.
Yeah, no, it's not a good drawing.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep trying and trying and trying until I get it, passable, and then I'll go to sleep.
All right, roll another performance.
Oh, I was just saying. Okay.
Gotta know how many tries it takes.
Oh, yikes.
I nearly rolled a 20.
Yeah, it's still somehow it looks worse than the first one.
Everything gets worse before it gets better.
True. Go and roll again.
Nice.
It's so close to a 20.
Tony sits in the living room.
It doesn't get
looking at-
worse, but it looks pretty much exactly the same.
It's actually impressive how you copied it.
Scribble for scribble.
How did I fuck up this badly twice?
Hey.
Yay.
This better.
Okay. Yeah, it starts to take shape and looks better. Still not perfect.
Okay.
Still not, amazing by any means, but it's passable. It looks like a spider.
Okay, yay. Then I will go to sleep and yeah, I'll go to sleep for now.
Okay, so who's
And I'll
taking
put the
first
spider back.
watch?
Talia's taking first watch.
Go ahead.
I will
Taking
secure
second
the-
watch.
Go ahead and roll perception for me.
And Talia's like, while she's out there sitting, taking watch, it's like, she's like playing a little bit with her lute, like quietly, so one won't bother the others, and Aspas is probably sitting outside with her, and she's like ranting to him about what a dick the fucking archmage is, or high mage, I don't know.
Okay.
Also quietly, so it won't bother the others, but like she's gonna rant and just like, we're just out here trying to save the world, we're doing our best, we've almost died so many times just to save the world, and yet here this asshole is who wouldn't even leave who we had to convince to leave his room just so we can, help save the world that he's a part of. But no, he's all pissy with us about it. Just like a small rant to the dog.
Okay. Yeah, and your watch goes by without issue.
Cool.
Who's gonna take second watch?
Me.
I can.
Me.
Durgan 1 and 2.
Or is it
Okay.
me?
There, go ahead, Dibs.
Fair enough.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
16.
Okay. Yeah, similar to Talia's, it goes by without issue, and you don't really have anything happen throughout your watch.
Nice.
Who's taking third watch?
I will.
Alright, go ahead.
So I'm gonna put Arcane Lock on the box of spiders real quick, the one I bought, and then I will step outside and start looking out.
Okay.
Nice.
It'll be a 17.
17, okay. Yeah, your watch also goes by without issue.
Mm-hmm.
And who will take the last and final watch?
I'll take last.
Okay. Gun roll perception.
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 20.
20? Okay.
Corner.
Yeah, it is a quiet night. There's no issue. There's nothing attacking. There's no soldiers. It's very quiet. And yeah, all of your long rests go by without issue.
Us will spend that morning, again, just kind of in that same kind of, after the watches and in the morning's begun, you can start hear people stirring. Just take the time again, just do another commune with nature. So I try to ping it. And again, just another ritual cast, but just as like a sort of morning ritual. But this time with the statue of Creona out in front of him, and kind of like directing the focus into the statue as well, just kind of like as a being of nature, not really being aware of how gods work. He's just like, statue, pray, sure. This kind of feels like praying. Just pray with a goddess present, huh? Sure.
Okay. Are you going in a particular direction?
Oh, just kind of the same as before, just kind of like deepening his connection with the nature and the ground around him. I guess if anything, focusing on the statue if you want to do anything with that, but not necessarily like searching for anything, just kind of deepening that connection, just as a morning ritual that he has now.
Okay. So not far from where you are, you're still picking up the fiend signature.
Moss will kind of just like shake his head a bit.
Seems closer this time than last time. Like closer yet far away still somehow.
Close enough for me to get a better read on its location.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, if I were to kind of think on the flight over, would I be able to kind of like get a general idea if I were to think back?
What do you mean?
Like on the flight, I kind of know the general area. We just flew from Stone Grove to here. I knew before it was somewhere in here, but far enough away that I couldn't really get it. So now it's closer, and I've now flown over this area twice. So would I having flown and knowing the kind of general direction, what kind of would I be able to figure out a general area that he's chilling in? This energy is, see if it's even worth seeking out.
Yeah, so it's not far off from you guys, but somehow it's not registering as being at the same level with you, if that makes sense.
It's below. Is it?
Yeah.
Would it feel like directly below or more diagonal?
I mean, not directly below, but pretty close, yeah.
Or like put my hand on the ground, knowing it's beneath. Are there any caves or tunnel systems within 300 feet
Oh, yeah.
beneath me?
Oh, yeah.
Do I feel like there is currently a cave system that is growing within the 300 feet underneath me?
Yes.
That's not what the answer I wanted. Moss will just kind of like turn to the statue and just kind of like give it a firm nod, and then take it and place it in that little space between his breastplate and his actual chest.
Okay.
And kind of stand, straighten himself out, clean off the area he was sitting again, and walk downstairs. Sees Tony because he was in the living room, in his room. And to kind of go and just kind of like, if he's not awake, kind of like gently rouse him a bit. It's like, hey.
Morning.
Good morning. Time's relative, but there is something beneath us. Something not good.
Fiend.
Fiend.
Can I divine sense to see if it's like literally right beneath us?
Ping it for me, and then yes.
I'd know if it's in 60 feet of us.
Cool. Go ahead and ping that.
There you go. I was pressing the wrong button. I'm gonna say I doubt it's within 60 feet of us, but if it is,
Yeah, I would say that it is farther than 60 feet, for sure.
Goodness. It is not immediate danger.
No, but 300 feet isn't farther off either.
We should probably get going then.
Should we see what it is, or should we just go?
I mean, do you have any idea what it is?
Something powerful enough to register as powerful.
Anything else you can give me?
It's a fiend. It's beneath us, so it can dig. Maybe some sort of like demon mole.
Do I have any knowledge of demon moles?
Moles, like the weapon?
No, mole, like an animal that digs.
Oh, mole, okay.
I'm saying mole gesturally. I mean
Yes.
demons that dig.
Gotcha. Roll
Dig.
history.
I help him as I'm like guiding him through the thoughts.
Sure.
Give him guidance? Question mark? Question mark?
Sure.
Yes.
Or wait. I think
Huh?
guidance is self only, isn't it? Or is it?
No, it is. It is. You can. Yeah.
You can. Okay. Then yeah, that's fine.
Boop. People I can touch.
Okay.
So it's a 19.
It's a 19.
Okay.
19.
So demon moles, not so much.
I say moles as a joke. I mean demons that can dig.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a few demons that can, like, dig through the ground and stuff. Nothing really in this area that you've heard of. Your point of reference would be Vudar.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, there's similar things, but not really the same.
Oh god, that's kind of terrifying. So the demons are regional as well. That's... Oh god. That's so fucked up, but so real. Oh god. Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I love that.
Mm.
Sorry, just kind of nerding out over DM shit. Yeah, Moss will just kind of nod and just be like, well, we did beat the Baron, but we kind of had a dragon for that. I'm not sure if we're up for a whatever the fuck a powerful fiend might be. Well, we do have you.
We also have, and I gesture to my room, delicate cargo.
Yeah, no, he's not a fighter. Yeah.
So I suggest maybe we
But like I said, we can always just bring him back.
head on quick.
All right, fine. I'll be upstairs, and just he'll turn and walk and wait upstairs.
Trust me, there's no one on this earth that would like to clobber that thing more than I do right now, but I don't think it would be wise.
Not sure which thing you're talking about,
And,
but if it's the one I want to clobber, I doubt it.
You hear from, like, one of the rooms in the back, like, clobber what? What's out there? What's out there?
Ah, brilliant. As he walks
I
upstairs.
walk into his room and say, "Oh, hi. There's some rabbits outside. I was gonna cook us up a meal. I'm quite a chef, you see." And I pull out the pan. I was hoping I could make some breakfast for us all.
And he says, okay, you scared me. I thought there was some giant monster out
Don't
there or
worry.
something.
Oh yeah, like Tara gets sticks her head out of the her room because he probably was a little bit louder, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
no,
just,
he's not trying to be
and
quiet.
just sticks her head out, slowly turns her head to the room where Tony's. Just takes a deep breath. It's like, good morning.
Morning,
I hope
Talia.
everyone's
Would you like some
well."
breakfast?
Yes, I would love some breakfast. I'm just a little bit tired.
Fantastic.
I would have liked to have slept a few more minutes, but I guess I would have been tired either way. I'm gonna take Spaz for a little morning walk, and then I'm gonna be right there for breakfast. She goes back in, changes her clothing because she probably slept in, not her armor. Takes Spaz and says, "Come on, Spaz, we're gonna go outside." She goes outside and just takes Spaz for a 10-minute walk because she's like.
Well, as you get upstairs, you hear a very similar rant to the one you had last night, but now coming out of Moss.
It's like, oh, it's like she walks past him.
Fucking god, that and he's punching a tree. You've never seen Moss get that actually physical before. He's heated.
It's Talia just walks past and points at him. He's like, yep, me too, and just
Get it out now.
around.
We've got another day.
Tony gets up, doesn't get changed because he does sleep in his armor, and will make breakfast. Oh wait, I'm missing a key component to make breakfast.
Hadrada.
Andrada's still having a sleep in?
Hadrada hears the word cooking and just goes.
Harjada walks out, grabs some wood. I'm assuming there's wood in there if we made a campfire, which
There's
I'm guessing we
pieces
did.
of wood that Moss's makes over time with Druidcraft.
Okay, so I just gather up some wood and shoot a firebolt at it, and then walk it back into my room. And and I will actually draw. I will keep trying to draw the spiders. This time being more intricate and trying to more make a diagram than just a drawing.
Okay, roll another performance.
A 11.
Okay. Yeah, very little progress in the way of like making it look good. It's something, but what that something is, you're not quite sure. If it's good, bad, or otherwise. To you, it's amazing, but
yeah, I'll just keep doing that, and I'm just gonna keep drawing until breakfast is ready.
all right.
While everyone was doing all of this, I probably just suddenly spawned next to the campfire. No one noticed.
Hello, I am awake now.
Oh.
And as you do, like, Drakken, like, jumps out of his, like, seat and says, "Where did you come from?"
Well, I walked out of the room and I'm sat down.
You can't sneak up on a person like that. You almost gave me a heart attack.
This is how I normal walk.
Well, don't
Talia
be
just
so quiet about it.
Comes back
Announce
from her
yourself.
Apologies.
walk
Is that the word?
Yeah. Like it just probably comes back from a walk. He's like, yeah, that's the word, and then she turns to the asshole.
Hey, you guys brought this on yourselves.
I have nothing against this man.
Oh, no,
Same
Me
here.
neither.
Like, I don't
this is
understand
peak
what.
D&D. I love it.
Oh yeah, no,
I don't understand
I'm
what-
loving this.
This is fun, yeah, no.
I don't understand what. I was also mad. It's like you guys dragged him along with you, and he said he
We're
didn't want to
saving
go.
the world.
Yeah, it's like
But at what cost?
With a step that's like probably unnecessary.
no, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, no, we just
I
bring
very much
him
enjoy
back
the-
there.
I have an NPC that I hate. We haven't.
We
had
might
an
as well make
NPC.
progress on the ball because we're not going to take it with us immediately anyway. We'll talk strategy
Talia, I'm
later.
sorry.
That's fine. Yes.
Anyways, Talia comes probably just back from her like walk with Spaz and is like, oh, they're just like that most of the time. You get used to it, but I guess you don't have to get used to it because you won't be traveling with us for that long.
And he says, "Don't tempt me with a good time.
Hmm.
I can't wait to get back to my room and never leave again. It's
Me neither.
scary out
She
here.
sits-
You never know what might be around the corner. Imminent death for all I know."
Well,
Yeah,
in
but
your
that's
room, do you
around
have
stuff
such prestigious cooking as hat goes on, a chef Tony extraordinaire?
And he says, the royal cooks do alright, I suppose.
All right is not good enough for the likes of Who? Ha! Pan out on the grill. Me.
No, Hadrada.
No, I'd is drawing spiders. Now, I show him the array of boxed foods I have. Pick your chosen breakfast option as
your
our
poison.
guest.
And he says, no, it's fine. You guys choose. I'm good with whatever you're
I
having."
insist, please.
What is it you have again?
I got a lot of things. I got meats, I got fruits, I got rice, I got water, I got coconuts, I got loads of spices. That's definitely off meat. I'll delete that. I don't show him the off meat. I have vegetables. I have rations if you want something dried.
And he says, well, meat's always done me pretty good in the past before, so if you got some of that, yeah, let's cook it up.
Well, we do. I pull out the delicious meat that Moss identified last time as definitely not a purple six-shouldered pig. I'm
The not human meat.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Sea
cut
pig
some.
of the Feywild. Yes.
Yeah, we'll cut some delicious bacon strips from it.
Human
Um,
bacon.
Yeah, human bacon. And
Not cannibalism.
I'm gonna go with the tried and true classic of dwarf spiced bacon,
Okay.
as that works pretty well.
Okay.
Oh, also I've got some rum. If you would like some rum for breakfast.
In the morning?
And he says, nah, I'm not a drinker.
Moss is taking a sip out of one of the 2 bottles he has up top.
Mammy. Anyway, I will begin chefing.
Okay.
Begin chefing then.
Yeah, so you fry up the meat and serve it out to everyone. And yeah, with the spice on it, it tastes really, really good. You even get Drakken to kind of, this is pretty good. But,
Good enough to leave your hovel to try a piece?
and he says, not that good.
Then I will do better next time.
And,
Everyone gains. Well, Drakken gains, because we still all have 4.
Okay.
2 temporary hit points.
Okay, cool. And,
Moss will come in towards the tail end. Still not eat, but just join everyone.
Okay. Yeah, and Moss comes in, joins everyone, and everyone finishes up breakfast and gets ready
Moss,
for the day.
I take has some alcohol in his possession.
Oh, well, it's not out. Put it away. Took a swig for the road up top.
Moss is drink
I
driving.
definitely asked for
Oh
some.
god.
Moss
drink-
always drives drunk.
I drink better when I fly.
Damn right. No, but Talia definitely knows that Moss has alcohol on him. Talia does know
Tyler,
that.
like looks over to him and does like this motion with drinking. It's like
Does
you know.
the eyebrows and hold up a finger. He's like, hold on. Oh, well, no, actually, it says like as everyone's saying, he comes back. Talia immediately does that. He does like the head like, come upstairs.
She
all
goes
right.
upstairs with him.
Well,
I'm done for. She like
yes.
finished her food. It's like I'm done for now. It's like goes up, takes spots
Hey.
with her again.
Tony. Oh no, it's all right. You already got it all prepared. It's all right. Oh, we'll be up top if anyone needs us. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. See you in a bit. And he like gives you like a half salute for some reason. He's never saluted before.
I confused look in my barely visible eyes give you a salute back.
And
yes,
Drakken
firm
just
nod,
kind of
walks upstairs.
Drakken just kind of sits there like, is this some kind of social cue that I'm not picking up on?
He's just a bit eccentric.
Ah, I see.
Moss hands a bottle to Talia and then pulls out a bottle himself. He goes, go! And then they both start chugging. No, not chugging, but he does a shot.
Okay.
He'll do a
Yeah,
shot with Talia.
He's just like she sighs heavily. She's like he's so exhausting for
wait,
someone who's not
hey.
social.
Listen, we'll get there. We just gotta drop him off, and then we're gonna go figure out this fucking witch situation.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds great.
I'm really not excited for this witch.
Almost anything is better than. I mean,
Just get him
me
to the
neither, but,
Duke,
like,
and we'll go on our. Hey, listen, drink, and then he takes the shot.
yeah, also takes a shot. Just like bonding over people you hate is the best bonding.
Okay, and then he's like slips it back away. He's like, oh, little woozy after that one. Hold on. I'm gonna go chill by these trees.
Yeah, you have to fly still.
Yeah. No, hey, listen. This is how I always fly.
Really?
I drink better when I fly. Yes.
Wait, what?
Wait, hold up.
And then
She
he
does this, like,
stumbles over to
motion-
the tree.
She does the like motion with switching around with her fingers. Like, oh wait, what?
Okay. So yeah, everybody finishes up breakfast and gets ready for the rest of the journey, or for the second day
forgot-
journey.
We forgot to buy cutlery in Stone Grove.
Ah, bastard.
There weren't any magic spoons. We don't care.
Yeah.
After he takes a moment to sober up, as everyone starts coming up, he'll just, again, wild shape, distinctly different from polymorph, into a giant bird,
Okay.
and let everyone on.
Okay. Yeah, and everyone gets onto your back, and you begin the second part of your journey. As you guys are flying, you can look across and see like a pretty good view. You can see Bellport off on the coast, and Stone Grove behind you, and Wintervale very small up in the distance.
Remember that flaming wreck?
One thing I did just think of as we're flying, do we on the second day, do we pass over that battalion that we passed that passed us on the way up? That we
No.
saved?
Not by the second day, no.
Really? They got that? Damn, all right. Y'all are fast. That was yesterday.
They probably didn't sleep.
Oh, they just kept marching. That's fair. Yeah, so then, I'll get us, no, because that place flooded. We're not going to go there. Fuck that guy. No, I'll take a little bit longer because we got there, we got there pretty early on the third day. So that means we got some leeway. After going here, I'll take us over to these mountains here. And I'll just, I'll make a new shelter in one of these more hilly areas in this area rather than going here.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than going that way, we're going to go just straight left.
About that area.
Yeah, anywhere in there. Anywhere like on one of those hills or mountains where I can badger us a new hole.
And getting to this area, roll perception checks.
Love us?
All of us?
Does someone give me advantage and we'll be good.
Or just
How?
Moss can, since he's the one like coming to this area. 18.
It's all right.
Looking around, you do see remnants of the Baron's camps.
Is there a camp that looks a little bit nicer than the rest of them?
I mean,
Like this is where the Baron was sleeping type shit?
At this point, they're all kind of, a bit like not so great because they've been abandoned in the snow.
Better than hole in the floor, though.
Isn't this
Is
the
there-
camp where Tomlin was held?
Yes.
Right.
This area was one of the camps that you guys cleared out before the battle started.
True. All the corpses and shit are still there, probably.
There are some bodies, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll just dig us a hole. It's all right.
Okay.
My holes are pretty nice. I'm getting pretty good at making the beds with my hands. You know, I just gotta kind of like I break down the dirt and then I pack it in, but not too hard on top. You know, so that way so it's a little bit softer dirt, but the hard dirt holds it together.
Right.
And Moss will land on just like a side of a mountain near some trees, get us some cover.
Okay.
Let everyone off before
still
shifting.
not a lot of trees in this area.
No? All right, then yeah, just on the side of a mountain then.
Okay.
Somewhere a bit higher up, maybe, so that way there's no way someone can like climb up. If I can find like an outcropping or something.
Okay. Yeah, you do find a few outcroppings and figure it'd be a good place to make camp.
Perfect.
It's,
Yeah. Sit down.
A little
get
more
everyone
sheltered
off.
from the wind than other places.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So he'll get down, drop everyone off. Say, all right. I guess we're here for an hour, and then giant badger dig down. Well, not giant. He's medium, but giant badger.
Giant badger.
Giant relative to badgers.
Bingo.
Large badger. I cast on larger units.
Yes. Badgers are relative. Turns into a badger. And we'll begin sculpting our home.
Okay.
I will make an extra room.
Yeah, and you guys, you start digging out the initial hole, and get that dug out, and then start digging out the main room area, and then start digging out the little side tunnels into the other bedrooms.
So it's like a kind of a hand pattern. So it's like half of it is the entrance, and then right when you walk in, you can see the entryway to 5 of them, and then there's like a 6th one that's very clearly separate from the rest of them.
Okay.
The hell are we just?
And Moss is
don't like this?
Moss is sitting there. He kind of did up the middle of it this time, just for the sake of it, because now, like he said, he's getting the hang of it. So he built like a little fire pit area. You can like walk down and sit into it, like like the 70s TV sitting rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like those, where like you step in and sit in, and the fire pit's in the middle, and he's like sitting there with his legs crossed. The fire pit's already made. Like, oh, hello everyone, welcome.
Dressing gown on. Lounge chair.
Legs man spread. The gown.
He had
I was
pants,
chilling.
like the hand like in the front of the waist belt. watching TV, Al Bundy style.
Hello.
No, very, very elegant, very like both arms up on either side of the chair, legs crossed.
And yeah, so the rest come down as you finish your work and come down into the slightly warmer area of below the ground. It's not quite as windy, and it's warmer, and you got a fire going and stuff. So compared to outside,
You got insulation.
it's much nicer. Yeah. And who will take the first watch?
Also take first this time.
Okay. So yeah, go and roll perception.
19.
19. Okay. So yeah, the first little bit of the watch, it goes by without any issue, and things seem pretty quiet. And your watch comes to an end, and you set off to
I'm taking the
go wake up Talia, who will be taking the next watch.
I shake Talia awake.
That's probably for potty, so
And Moss also hands you the bottle. It's half empty.
thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Don't finish it. I need that for tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I won't. I promise.
I'll take the third one. Talia's done.
'Cause it's not, 12.
12. Okay. So you take your watch and take a couple sips off the bottle, and you're sitting there, and it starts to rain again.
Oh no.
I
And,
did build the same water trap that I built in the second one after learning the lesson from the first one.
Okay. And good thing,
There's
too,
a
because
slight
it's a
outcrop.
much heavier downpour this time. And besides the rain, it's a very wet watch, but it's over relatively uneventfully.
Just for safety measure, I go tell Moss that it's raining. It's very heavy rain, and I just want to be sure.
Yes, no, I appreciate you letting me know. After the mistake of the first time, I've
Yes,
devised a
of course.
little system. Would you like to see it?
Sure.
Moss will walk upstairs and show. Now, you see, all it takes really is just one nail, especially when Tony makes me as big as that. I just draw a little line here, and then a flick, and you can kind of see where there's like a very, very neat, very clean, organized aqueduct that's creating like a U shape that then pours down the side of either side of the mountain, like little tiny rivers going down.
That's so cool.
You can do a lot when you can dig. It's, I'm not gonna lie, I don't, being the bird can be fun, being transportation's weird, but being underground, now that's fun.
Oh, I can imagine. Moss, I didn't say it a lot, but I appreciate you so much.
Of course, I know. We're not a very vocal party, are we? Well, I am.
No,
You lot aren't.
I appreciate you.
And who's taking the third watch?
Excuse me, I will.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
Sheet will load. There we go. Okay, so check down
Nice.
22.
22, okay. Yeah, so as you take your watch, the rain begins to subside from a torrential downpour to a lighter drizzle. And yeah, your watch goes by without issue.
Rather than so my watch is the last watch, correct?
No, one more.
Or no?
One more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll go wake up whoever wants to be next.
Trader Tony.
They'll have a little sign on their room saying I'm next. I'm guessing it's Durgit.
One without the
sure,
do
whatever.
not disturb sign.
Yeah.
We have established Tony is blind as fuck, so.
Yeah. So I'm going to wake up Durgit.
Okay.
But
And
now
I
he's
have a
got
question.
full glasses.
If I forsake the rest of my long rest, this one watch, would I still get the point of exhaustion, or would I not?
Well, because you rested while the others were doing the first initial watches, right?
Yeah.
I would say probably, yeah.
Okay, well then I'll just go back to sleep then.
You gotta get the full 8 to get the
The
long
full
rest.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, so I'll go back to sleep then.
Okay.
Um,
So Durgit, go ahead and roll perception.
20.
20.
Good rolls.
Okay. So yeah, the final watch of the evening goes by without issue, and
That's good.
the sun starts to crest the mountains and rise, and it gets a little bit warmer as the sun starts to rise up and kind of defrost everything. It's like a thin layer of frost on the outside ground.
I guess I'll go wake up everyone.
Okay. So yeah,
Moss greets you as you walk in because he's not asleep.
so yeah, Durgit comes in and begins waking everyone up besides Moss.
Once her daughter wakes up, I'm gonna do the same thing I've done the last 2 rests, and yeah, so I'm just gonna keep practicing until I actually like get it, you know.
Okay, so roll another performance.
Okay.
It's getting better.
14.
14. Okay, yeah, it looks better. It's shaping up into something better than your first initial attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Was this one diagrammy or artsy?
This one's diagrammy.
Okay.
And I will go over to Moss actually, and show him the diagrams of the spiders and ask, "How do these look? Any improvements I could make?"
Just kind of looking over him. It's just like, I mean, I can see it's a spider. I don't know what all these fancy symbols are, and he's like pointing at all the measurements and shit. But I mean, it looks good. You're getting there. It just looks like you just need to do it more.
And he says, "Okay, thank you."
Of course. Anytime, Hydrata. And Moss will, at that point, he would have been upstairs, beginning his little ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Which also commune with nature in the morning. If that pings anything, yeah.
He's probably also just waking up, going upstairs, avoiding this time to be rudely waken up by high mage screaming about something. It's just like going to Moss, like, can I just sit with you? Would you mind if I?
Moss nods. He doesn't say anything, but he nods.
Okay. Just sits down.
He goes, sets up his little statue, and then begins casting his 10-minute cast.
Okay. And Drakken comes out of one of the rooms and just kind of warning all of you.
Morning, Drakken.
Very different than the last couple of days.
Does he seem happy?
He seems more defeated.
Oh, that's not happy. Huh?
It's setting in.
Morning, Drakken. How are we?
He says, fine, I suppose. Really starting to miss home here. You guys think we can move this along a bit? Not to rush you, of course.
Well, I look at Moss.
Moss is upstairs currently.
Oh. I thought there would be like a hole in. I thought you were like at the doorway.
Oh, well, he's like off to the side of the door. He's not immediately
Ah.
outside. If you
Well,
hollered, he'd be able to hear. You've
we
seen
will
this
see.
little setup.
I sit at him and say, Moss!
Did your voice just crack?
I was trying to do the impression of yelling, whilst not
Uh.
actually yelling because it's late.
It's like someone yell like, Mom?
Mom!
Mom, phone!
Oh my God.
Would that have been deep enough in the morning for him to finish his cast? 10 minutes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, finishes his cast, finishes his little ritual. He probably call for him as he's putting his little thing away. And like begins walking downstairs. Goes, yeah, what's up?
How quickly do you reckon we can get there?
I literally wait for all of you every morning.
I know, I mean,
We're getting there today.
fantastic. And I look to Drakken to see if that brightened his mood a little.
Marginally, yeah.
I
Nice.
guess if I pick it up, I'd probably be tired, but I could try to sprint us there, get us there with less time, but I mean I don't know if all of you will be able to hold on if I'm moving that fast.
We'll go with comfortable. How about that?
Yeah, we'll get there today, no matter what turns to Dragon. We'll get there today. We'll get you inside a castle yet. Don't worry. I'm honest with you, I'm getting quite tired of this cold myself.
And he says, okay, yeah, the sooner I can look at this phylactery that you got, the better. I'm really starting to feel it, you guys.
Well, this could be the start of something. And just kind of a thought I had. Would we be able to see the giant black smoke from here, towering over Wintervale? If it's like, because you said it was like really wide range, right? Would we be able to see it from where we are here in these mountains?
Roll perception.
Perception. I'm gonna give myself some guidance. If that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Up 25. Sorry, clicked it twice. And then guidance just fun. That's a 29.
Yeah, for sure. You see just the very large cloud over Wintervale Castle.
Yeah, Moss will say, Drakken, if you could join me up top for a second.
Like it's not miles wide, but it's decent.
Wide enough.
You know.
Yeah. Well, Drakken, if you could follow me. This could be at least the beginning of getting your thoughts moving on this phylactery.
And he says, finally, yeah, sure.
Yes, something you can actually work on. And then comes up. It's like, I apologize. I understand what it means to be out of your element, as he's like walking up the stairs with him.
And he says, well, you know, hopefully I can get back soon and put all this behind me.
Like I said, sir, I am the fastest mode you'll get. The longer you stick with me, the faster you'll get home. How's that sound?
Sounds good enough. Sounds good enough for me.
Now, how about that? And like he doesn't touch him, but he leans in a little bit closer and like points, like where you point next to someone's head so you can guide their sight line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like trying to just like isolate vision, like there. That is the black smoke of Blackfield.
And he kind of follows your finger and looks off on the horizon and says, oh boy, it's giving physical manifestations. That's not good. That's a step in the wrong direction.
Well, it's been doing that since before we killed him, so at the very least, it doesn't seem like there's been too much of a change.
Well, that's good at least. It hasn't gotten wider, has it?
Has it? For that 29?
No, it doesn't seem like it.
No, luckily, we have been moving with some haste. This is only day 5 we've been gone since he's died.
And he says,
The beginning of the 6th day.
That's a plus at least. It's semi-contained, it seems like. And he says, as for the smoke itself, I have no idea what that could be.
Well, that's why we're bringing you to it, isn't it? Moss kind of like, he doesn't smile. I always go to say he smiles. He doesn't have a fucking mouth. There's no smile.
And he says, I must admit, my curiosity in this is starting to grow a bit.
And my biggest question of all this, why the Feywild? Why are those furnaces so hot?
And he says,
don't get me wrong, I love home, but...
And he says, I really couldn't begin to tell you that. If I had to make a guess, maybe it's something to do with the different planes having different properties to things. Fire could burn hotter in one while it burns like ice in another. Who knows?
What? You're talking about laws of physics? That's ridiculous. No, but perhaps. I mean, I guess we'll find out and then we can come let you know. But for now, yes.
And he says, do that. I'm quite curious about the Feywild.
Oh, well, if you have any questions, I'm
piqued my
happy to answer them.
interest a little bit.
If I'll have you know, I am quite the expert in that field.
And he says, what forms of wild magic do they have there?
Wild magic? Oh, my friend, there's only wild magic in the Feywild.
that could help me with a hypothesis I have. I have a running hypothesis at the moment that all wild magic emits from the Feywild. Though I have nothing to prove it. It's a standing theory, of course.
Frantically typing. Hold on. Drum. Feywild. I'm not getting that as my breath right now. I went to full panic mode the second he said hypothesis. I'm like, fuck. Okay. Oh. Alright. Now. That does sound. He actually laughs. He does laugh. That does sound like my home, indeed. Tell you what. If we can figure out a way to jump to and fro, you don't have to come, but there is someone I definitely want you to meet.
And he says, you think you'd like Stonegrove?
I think he'd like a lot of things here. I don't know how well they'd like him, though.
And he says, well, that could be an issue, but well, we can always cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, I mean, if they grew to like me, right? Well, I wouldn't say most of them like me, but they tolerate me, at the very least.
And he says, yeah, well, if you can get over there and bring them back, by all means, I'm sure dignitary from another realm would be quite the event here in Stonegrove.
If I have to move the heavens and the plains, I shall, my friend. And he just kind of nods.
He just continues to study the black cloud and just kind of mumbling to himself a bit and looking at it and like cocking his head and just.
Moss will sit there and very from an arcanist perspective, which is probably not one he's used to taking, but giving any additional information he can as not obviously he doesn't study magic, but he is a purveyor of natural magic, so he does have the knowledge of it, you know. So giving him that kind of alternate perspective, kind of like an Eastern philosopher chiming in on the Western, very heavy, stern, there's chemicals in the brain, and then he's like, well, what about feelings?
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of going from a more professional, work-driven standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And then just be up there with him until I guess the rest of the party comes and joins us or calls for breakfast.
Okay.
Look around at everyone. So, what are we having?
I like the fruits
Well done.
from a few days ago.
Hat on. The fruit it will be. I am. Oh wait, I need fire again, don't I? This is a new day. Adrada!
Yeah.
The fires, please.
And Ardrada comes out and says, I'm working on drawing.
Just a quick.
Moss, hearing the call for Hadrada, starts coming down the stairs with Drakken, probably still mid-conversation with Drakken on the possibilities of what the smoke could be or what it manifesting as and what that pertains to. As they come down, it's like, oh, I've got fire. And Hadrada, you're good. I've got this.
And Ardrada's all like, thanks.
Moss gives him a firm nod.
Sorry, Tony.
It is no bother.
He's got a new project. As Moss kind of flicks his hand and the green fire starts burning.
Tony
off
looks
his hand.
very concerned.
No, this one's all right. He's actually asking for my advice.
Tony looks very surprised.
Yeah, I don't
Through
get it
the
either.
helmet?
Yeah, body language.
Fair enough.
Moss
He
with
is physically taken aback.
Also, the passive inside of 18 is probably the only one that can ever understand exactly what Tony's doing.
Okay.
Tony just this very, very big motions always with his body, and no one else gets it.
Everyone's like, God, he's so stoic and stern, and Moss that dude's fucking nuts.
In that case, it's cooking time.
Okay.
And then Moss will, using the green flame, help mandate the heat. Probably not as good as Hadrada, but he does his best.
I will be cooking today some lovely fruit. Hat on the head,
Okay.
I hate this part.
pan on the hand,
I
ready
do
to go.
apologize for this one, Drakken.
It is a curse of a terrible voice for a fantastic meal.
If I ever get a wish, I'm using it to make sure you can never use that voice again.
Oh, but it has grown on me almost.
Oh no, it's a terrible elven accent.
It's grown on something. That's right.
And yeah, you begin cooking up fruit for breakfast.
Talia's like Tony. That accent reminds me of one of my very ugly aunts.
Well then, I'm sure she cooked like a stunner.
Moss, throughout the entire dinner, very strangely, especially to Talia and Tony, the two people that probably know him the best, is holding a conversation with Drakken. And it is very, very different from things you usually hear him talking about, things like the arcane web and how it ties into nature and the trees. And he probably pulls out this statue that he's like noticed is changing exactly how his communes have been working. Also, did that commune ping anything earlier, Mike? Or are we all good here?
Yeah, no,
region?
you're good. You're good.
All right, good. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Seeing if there's anything. There's a god in the mountains. I don't fucking know.
All of
but
the
yeah,
Mountain King.
I would like to try to continue to pick his brain, specifically about the orb in the mist. And like I'm giving him my recounting of the orb and how the stuff moved when I moved it and what it actually looked like and how heavy it was, that kind of stuff. Giving him like an idea as we get in there.
Okay.
Talia was very Talia probably always is very much in her own whenever she's around people, she'll always have something to talk about. But Talia got stunned at that Moss is talking to the dude that the two of them were complaining about just the day earlier, and just sits there and listens because it's very interesting to her.
Okay. So, Tony, you're cooking breakfast?
Yes, breakfast is being cooked to perfection.
Okay.
Same breakfast as I cooked on the fruity night. At
Okay.
Talia's request.
Go ahead and roll that d4. Or is that d4 the one you rolled?
No,
right
that's
there?
mine. That's my
okay.
guidance.
Okay.
The default doesn't stack, but I'll roll it to see if Drakken gains anything else.
Oh, right.
I also
right.
have not.
Two.
Okay.
No, he still keeps the 2.
Yeah. Okay.
And I get 1.
You haven't used the health from the fall.
I didn't eat.
No, the
I
first
chose-
fall that you did eat.
Which for? What?
Right, before we got to the city, you ate. That was the fall.
Temporary hit points go away after a long rest.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they just don't stack while they're still active.
Yeah.
But they go away after every long rest. You do not get to keep the temp HP, unfortunately.
So everybody would get a temporary hit point then.
Yes, everyone gets.
Everyone has a temporary hit point.
Mm-hmm.
free hit.
Maybe at level 1, but nowadays.
Free toe stub.
Towards the end of the breakfast, kind of like in a lull of the conversation as we're all eating, he'd kind of turn to Drakken. Just be like, and you did mention wanting to know more about the Feywild. That is an open invitation. You ever want to know anything, ask. And then turns to all of you. These lot sure haven't asked much. I do love telling stories.
And he says, yeah, I'll probably end up having a few questions for you at some point. This has kind of inspired me to pull out my old hypothesis again. I put it away and shelved it after people said I was nuts.
Well, I'll have you know something, my friend. Everyone from the Feywild is nuts.
And he says, good to know.
Well, most of us. Kind of knocks himself on the head. But, this fruit is delicious. All right then. Guy claps. Are we all ready to go?
I believe we are.
Second, I thought you just said I clap.
Yes,
Like,
it is
just
very-
on the floor.
Clap, not collapse.
Yeah, no, I thought he said claps.
I collapse.
Yeah.
from the
Arms are
exhaustion of an 8-hour rest.
Arms are heavy, knees weak, arms are sweaty.
Mom spaghetti.
There's vomit on his sweater already. Tony's fruit salad. He's nervous.
Stop, you're gonna get us a copyright strike.
I seriously doubt we get a copyright strike.
We don't. We do not. We're not even. You have to. Guess what? You have to be monetized to get a copyright strike.
Yeah, so you guys finish up breakfast and come out of the dugout shelter that Moss made for you all. And yeah, what are you doing?
Turning into a bird.
Alrighty. Getting on the bird.
Okay.
Also getting on the bird.
Burp
Oh,
time.
actually, you know what? Hold on. He says, but like he goes to turn into the bird and then like puts his arms up and then hand up, turns around, just so we're clear, and then touches himself, polymorphs himself into a Quetzalcoatl, which is a normal Quetzalcoatl with flesh, and then pops back out. That's polymorph, and then giant metal bird that bursts forth from his being.
And Drakken says, "Okay, I stand corrected. Yours is
Moss
the bit
closes-
cooler."
Moss crosses his arms and nods, standing upright as a Quetzalcoatl with like a really round belly, but it's all metal.
Okay. So
And then gets down and gets everyone on.
So all of you climb up onto Moss's back and begin heading towards Wintervale, and that's where we'll go and pick up next week.
Okay.
Level up.
Do we level up?
And you do level up, yes.
Awesome.
Oh yay! Alright.
I got him to like me, guys. I did it in a session. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy.
Bro,